$29 is a great price for a good start. Big Toy Shop. Power up and save some bucks at Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
This Black Friday, transform your state of mind with Calm Radio. Enhance focus with timeless classical masterpieces. Unwind to soothing nature soundscapes. Or drift into deep rest with a sleep music.
Charging defended by Valensky. From Samuskevich at 6:30.
Create calm every moment and reconnect with yourself. Visit calmradio.com and begin your transformation today.
I'm Rick Jowers from Noble RV.
Luca. Showtime.
Actually buy RVs.
Fair question, Rick. Why would you want to buy an RV just when it's time to put it away in storage for the winter?
And I have the answer, Bob, because the RVs at No Bull are used. And that means
They go to Sexton out of the backfield. He's got two tight ends blocking.
when you're looking
They go to Sexton out of the backfield. He's got two tight ends blocking on the outside. He's got room. He bursts 66 yards.
also means when you find the right one, you grab it up before someone else does. Sometimes that's in the fall, but No Bull makes it easy because when you buy your used RV now, we include winterization and winter storage for free. We even get it prepared for spring camping at no charge to you. All you need to do is be ready for the great outdoors come next spring. When you think of it that way, the fall might be the best time to get your RV.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Borowski, and it's 4-1 Edmonton. Another bad goal, and that's going to do it for Sergei Bobrovsky. Daniil Tarasenko is coming into this game.
On Sports 1440.
In the other conference, Detroit has only lost 2. Good play by Luka. Here he goes. Showtime! Oh, Luka.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And they go to Sexton out of the backfield. He's got two tight ends blocking on the outside. He's got room. He bursts inside Raiders territory. One man to beat. He won't be caught. Touchdown, Simpson. 66 yards.
What a magnificent Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game and use the promo code Gregor50. You get a free $50 play, PlayAlberta.ca. And remember, we now have every day at PlayAlberta.ca on the weekdays when we have the show on. We have our picks that we've always talked about. So it comes in there. And today it is the Panthers and Predators over 5.5 and the Red Wings to win outright. So check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. Got the big win on Friday with the Raptors and Barnes and the Leafs and Habs going over. So there you have it. Edmonton Oilers end their season-long 7-game road trip with a victory in Florida. Oilers showing some signs. Obviously, it's still not exactly where where they want to be. I don't think, but they are slowly maybe trending in the right direction. They got 3 out of 4 points in Florida. Tampa maybe ran out a little bit of gas in that Tampa Bay game, but came into Florida. got out early. Hey, Bobrovsky, guess what? Other goalies allow weak goals too. And Bobrovsky, that first one, that was a stinker by him. But the Oilers had a 4-1 lead. Kind of held on a little bit. Third period, I thought Stuart Skinner was their best player, and sometimes you need that from your goaltender. And Evan Bouchard had another really solid game. I'll say this: in November, Bouchard's game has been really good, like really good. And your best players play better, your team looks a little bit better. The Oilers are getting closer to healthy. Nugent Hopkins is a maybe. I'm going to lead to no for tomorrow. Doesn't mean he won't play, but I just watching practice today, and they don't play again until Saturday, and you're coming off a concussion. I could see them just saying, hey, you know what? Another 96 hours can be a benefit to us. Kasperi Kapanen was flying out there on the ice today. We have an interview coming up with him a little bit later on, talking about just where he's at. And I think Saturday is a good chance to see him return to the lineup. Jake Wallman is either Saturday or next Tuesday for him. Lazar and, Phillips on LTIR, so he's out for at least 9 more games. Got to be out 10 games and 24 days total, so he'll be out for a while. And Curtis Lazar is at least another week. And when he does come back with everybody else healthy, then there's going to be some real competition in the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers. So we'll touch on that. We'll talk about a crazy weekend in the National Football League. Oh my goodness, there was some comebacks, some teams that needed wins and just squeaked by, like the Kansas City Chiefs, desperate for a win, and Pat Mahomes still hasn't lost 3 consecutive games in a row. So that was big for them. And of course is a short week in the NFL for a lot of teams because it's Thanksgiving Thursday. So got 3 games coming up on Thursday. You do have Carolina and the 49ers tonight, but the Giants, my goodness, how many times can you blow leads? Eventually you're just going to have to make a change. And it was wild when you look at the Giants. So I'm going to give you want to talk about a rough sked, a rough time. So here's the Giants. These are scores, and they ended up losing every one of these games. They were leading the Cowboys 37-34 with 15 seconds left. They lost. They were leading the Saints 14-3 late in the first half. They lost that game. They were leading the Broncos 26-8 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Lost. They were leading the Bears 20-10 with 3:58 to go in the fourth quarter. Lost. They were beating the Lions 27-17 with 10:57 to go in the fourth quarter. Lost. Like, that is mind-blowing to me. Oh my goodness, you're just blowing leads constantly in the fourth quarter. It's absolutely wild. So they fired their defensive coordinator. Maybe no surprise there. And we move on. So we got lots and lots to talk about in the NFL, some NBA, lots of NHL talk. Sean Brown will join us here momentarily. We got Kevin Woodley coming on the program in about 15 minutes time. Eric Smith will talk some NBA and his new book, We Are the Raptors. Dennis Bernstein will be by, talk some LA Kings and Anaheim Ducks. Nick Kyprios, Brian Diardo, the 2-minute warning, 5 questions. So, man, we got a loaded show. Also, one-on-one I had with Kasperi Kapanen, a one-on-one with Clattenburg, and conversation with head coach Chris Knobloch, because I've seen a lot of reporting out there that, the Oilers have changed their system. Everything's different. False. I watched their games. I'm like, what do you guys, everybody says they changed the system, and they're like, well, yeah, they're spread out more. Do you think any coach in mankind at the NHL level teaches his guys to not support the puck and spread out on purpose in the D zone? And just because a guy shows you one 30-second clip where guys are making mistakes, that's not a systemic clip. That's a mistake clip. But anyway, Knobloch confirmed today, we haven't made any changes. He goes, why would we? We've had the exact same 5-on-5 system that took us to 2 Stanley Cup finals. And he goes, hesitant to change it because we've had a lot of success. But he did make a change in practice today. I think the subtle changes are going to be try to protect the slot area a little bit more based on how they're doing it. And I also think there might be a little tweak in the neutral zone on and them not giving up the middle of the ice on breakouts inside the blue line. So we'll talk to Sean Brown about that systemically, because they hadn't made any change. They just weren't playing very good. I know it's easy to want to blame the coach. The players weren't playing good, full stop. They made some horrific decisions. Now, the last few games, they started to play a little bit better. Not to the level yet, but you're showing some signs of, okay, you know what? We're not just going to be loosey-goosey. And when your best players play better, usually you have a better chance to win. As we welcome Sean Brown into the studio. Brownie, how you doing?
Good weekend.
Yeah, you ever had a coach have a defensive system that had you guys spread out?
No.
Thank you very much.
But I've played on teams where, like you said, I mean, when you struggle and you're not feeling good, I mean, everyone looks bad, right?
Mhm.
And you're spread out just because you're just not playing well and making proper reads.
Yes. So, they're not making proper reads, right? It's just simple.
It's pretty tough too in today's game, right? With the amount of games and the amount of travel, like that's what you hear a lot of coaches talking about. They don't have a lot of practice time, right? So a lot of the time that they have, they're kind of using it to kind of rest and recover, and they probably just do a lot of their teaching through video. It sounds like to me, just with how busy the schedule, and especially because it's condensed with an Olympic year.
Yeah. So, but when guys aren't playing well, you lose confidence, you start making plays. Guys, you get a little lazier, you go for a stretch. And the other thing about the stretch pass is, because I've heard a lot of people talk about it, so I counted it the last few games. It happens like 3 times. That's not a system. That's an option at certain times. There's tons of options. It's not like a system says we can only break out this way, right? You have a foundation, but within your foundation, there's multiple different options.
Well, yeah, that's when every coach is trying to teach some structure, and within that structure, like you're saying, I mean, the skill within that structure will beat, the reads and the forechecks and a system in itself. So, I mean, that's the one thing that the Oilers have a lot of, is a lot of talent and a lot of guys that, have the skill, have the ability to make some of those reads, make those reads and plays under pressure. And anytime you have those types of players in your lineup, it doesn't, the structure and forechecks and all that are obviously good, but those guys that can make those plays, that's why Bouchard is so valuable. And I know a lot of people have a hard time and, give him a little bit of grief, but the one thing that he does is he just makes those plays under pressure and it beats that structure. So, I've been in that situation a lot where, you're not feeling overly confident about your game. And sometimes you start doing a little bit less, you start defending a little bit slower just because you're unsure yourself. And then, obviously, with time and space, good players, they make good plays. But I think as they build and they grow and they get confident in their game and in their individual game, all that time and space will start to take away, because that's one thing that the Oilers have, is they got guys in the back end, especially that, good sticks, big bodies, can close well. So, I look to see them build off of that road trip and that last win, and hopefully they can carry it on against Dallas.
Well, Dallas comes to town. No Mikko Rantanen. Gets the automatic 1-game suspension for his second game misconduct in a span of 41 games, which I didn't even know was a rule. To be honest, I didn't know that was a rule specifically for that. I thought that hit on Coronado could easily be a multiple game suspension. They just went with the automatic 1-game suspension. No Matt Duchene. I don't think Harley's going to play tomorrow. So you know what? The Oilers got some injuries. The Stars have some injuries. Edmonton will have to play well if they want to. And now, like, they've been a good home team, excluding the Colorado game. They have to try to start building on something here. 6 of their next 7 games are at home. They'll get some practice time in, which they didn't really practice for 2 weeks, Brown. Like, not once.
Yeah.
They didn't have a practice. Like, morning skate isn't a practice for anybody listening. Like, the morning skate is kind of like a Sunday stroll, right? Like, you get out there, you feel the puck on your stick. Hey, you know what? You skated about, 70%, maybe 60%?
Yeah, no, it's literally just to kind of get you out, get a feel for the puck, get a feel for your equipment, and try to take that feeling into the game at night. But I think they're, like I said earlier, I think that a lot of what they do now is a lot of video preparation, right? And guys, sit down with their coaches and kind of go over 5-on-5 tactics, PP, PK, all the specialty teams. That's kind of the way the NHL goes now. Is, like I said, they're trying to save energy and stuff. Hey, one thing I got to ask you though, what do you think of Clattenburg and being called up?
I had no issue with it. It's salary cap related too. People have to understand that. That was the only body they could afford to call up because of Noah Philp. You had to match his salary, right? Couldn't be anybody who made more than Noah Philp. So they didn't have the cap space to do it.
Yeah.
They're also looking for us. Like, it was going to be either him or Max Jones. Max Jones made too much, so it couldn't be him, right? You weren't going to call up Ike Howard to fill an energy role. You weren't going to call up Yarventi to fill an energy role. And so he comes up, he's a 4th-line guy. Like, why would you call up Ike Howard for 1 or 2 games knowing that that's all it's going to be, right? Like, Clattenburg is going to play tomorrow as long as Nugent Hopkins doesn't play. And then he'll be going back to the minors. Yeah. And that's okay. Like, it's a thrill of a lifetime. He gets in some games. It's a reward for how he's playing. I had no issue with it at all. And you know what? I thought he looked fine in his few minutes. You know, he had a scoring chance, right? Actually, one time he looked off to Masick. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, you know, attaboy kid, but he had another chance in front of the net. Didn't make any glaring defensive misreads, and, you know, played limited minutes, kind of what I expected, but I had no problem with it.
I thought it was great. And I think, you know, you and I talked about it, and I think now, you know, there is, you know, it's missing, right? That grit, that sandpaper. And I think it kind of, you know, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but does it not send kind of a message to the young guys, and it sends a message to the team like, hey, if you're doing these types of things, you're going to get an opportunity, right? I thought it was a good move. I don't think by any means is he going to come up here and save the day, but I think it's a good message for him and a good message to the team that, hey, you know, and to other guys maybe similar in that role, that, you know, you come up and you play the right way, you're going to get an opportunity. So I think as an organization, I thought it was something. I thought it was a good call.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, right? Like, you're going to have different roles, and talk to Connor, and we'll get to that clip later on today about. I think it's pretty clear if he's going to be an NHL player, he's going to be an energy guy who's physical, bangs bodies, and kills penalties. Right, that's what he's going to do, and obviously got to work on your hands so you can contribute a little bit offensively for sure. And, you know, he talked about, he knows, right? Like this, I saw some people say, "Oh, it stunts his development." What the hell are you talking about? This will be unreal for his development.
It's an injection.
They're like, "Oh, it's too soon to bring him up." Based on what? Your opinion? Your opinion's based on nothing factual. What do you mean it's too soon to come up? You don't think he could play 2 games in the NHL?
Yeah.
I think he played in the preseason. He didn't look out of place. He actually scored a few goals in the preseason. I think he fought almost every game in the preseason, right? Like, you know, AJ Greer couldn't fight, as he's got a bad hand. People wondering. And I thought it was great that Clattenburg didn't fight. And then I look at Dallas's roster here tomorrow night. Like, they'll want to be physical, and, you know, maybe Bichelle will fight him if he has to. But I'd rather he go around and be physical and hit guys and irritate. And if a fight comes because a fight comes, and maybe part of it he wants, I get why he wants to fight. You're 20 years old, man. You want to, you know, you're a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a rooster in there. You know how it was, Brownie. Like, you want to get noticed. You want to kind of get, hey, guy gets his first goal. If you're a physical player, you kind of want to get your first fight. Hey, I had a fight in the NHL, right? Like, I'm showing I'm willing. I get why you want to do it. But I didn't think he had a bad game because he didn't fight. It was kind of secondary to me.
It's not even about the fight. Like you said, it's just getting up there and injecting some enthusiasm and playing with some energy and finishing your check. And then, you know, obviously other guys kind of following. So, you know, for me, it's not, I would never expect a guy or want a guy to say, hey, come on up here and just fight. But it's like, hey, come up here and play the way we drafted you. Yeah. Right. Show us that you can play the way we drafted you and you're comfortable doing that. And I think it's great for his development. It's encouraging. It lets him know that you've noticed it, and get him up here a few games and get him back down in the minors. And this experience, I know when I first got called up, like, just getting that experience of understanding what it's like to be in the NHL, what it's like to be on the road, what it's like to be in the hotels, what it's like to play against other teams, just the game day preparation and actually what goes into it. This, for his development over the summer and moving forward, is just going to really, really help him. And I think more teams, I think the more often you can do this with your young prospects, you'll start to get to know exactly what you have.
Yeah. Well, and it gives him, it's a little bit of a carrot, right? Like, he talked about the plane. Well, he'd never flown on an NHL plane. And he's like, oh my God. Like, I asked him about the plane ride home. He's like, oh, geez, I was tired. I'm trying to sleep, and I'm so excited. On the seats are laying right out. You know, you got all this food, right? Like, you're 20 years of age. And he had a shift with McDavid. Right? I talked to him about that too. And it was first thing his parents said to him were like, oh, we're so proud of him. He's like, you were on the ice with McDavid. Like, that's, you know, he was a fan of the Oilers up until he became an Edmonton Oiler. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, once you're drafted, now you're a fan. You go to camp. Hey, this is great. And, you know, Connor McDavid, oh my God, this guy's unreal. But you're still playing in Bakersfield, but you're still kind of admiring him. And the next thing you know, like, and, you know, I'll let people listen to his answer later about being on the ice with McDavid. But like, there's not many guys who can say they played an NHL game and were on the ice at the same time with McDavid on their team. There's just not many in the history of the game that could say that.
Yeah, it's pretty special. And it was nice too. Like, I'm sure most guys have it in their contract that, you know, when they play their first game, that their parents are, you know, basically, I think from what I remember, my contract is they pay for your parents to get out there. It didn't quite work out at the exact moment for my parents to come watch me in my first game. But it was nice to see his family in the stands in Florida watching his first game, because obviously anyone that makes it to the NHL, there's a huge supporting cast, parents being the number one. So it was nice for him to share that moment with his family in Florida. And yeah, I've been in that situation before where you go from watching these guys collecting their cards, all of a sudden, being a line mate or being on the same ice with them, and good on him. I mean, those nerves are real. And I thought he handled himself, and it only gets easier, and you kind of settle in. Like just even watching him on Hockey Night in Canada, like just walking out into your first warm up pregame skate, right? It was pretty neat and special.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And hey, they found a way to win the game. It wasn't perfect, right? I thought Stuart Skinner had a pretty solid game for the Oilers. He was very good in the third period when they needed him. And so, small little steps from guys who have to improve their game, right? Like I think it's the first 2 games all season where the Oilers got solid goaltending 2 games in a row. And for the most part, pretty good defensive play. Like even Tampa Bay, they kind of ran out of gas. But there wasn't like the glaring errors that cost. And really, if Roslovic scores, which he should have, they win that game.
Oh,
right?
Tampa?
In overtime, right? And then, in Florida, pretty solid game. So still not perfect.
Yeah.
And like the fatigue factor, how much can you describe, how much of a factor you think, this like 16 out of 24 on the road?
Oh yeah, that's tough. I mean, and they travel well, right? I mean, the planes, the charters, and where they stay, the food, and how well they get taken care of. But still, it takes a toll on you. So, yeah, that's the fact that they hung in there and grinded for that win in Florida was impressive, and that says something about the Edmonton Oilers. And just things haven't been great. The details in their game individually, it's been inconsistent. But the fact that I think we're going to look back here and they're just hanging around. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. I mean, it's a long season, and there's lots of teams, in the NHL that, everyone kind of goes through this at some point. And if you can just kind of hang around, which they're doing, and kind of build off, and then eventually, like, you talked about earlier in the show, when your stars and your better players start playing better, right? I think we can look back at some point in time in the season and be like, hey, you know what? They grinded through November. It wasn't easy, but they hung around, and now look at where they're at. At some point, they're going to start to catch on. At some point, things are starting to click. Guys are going to come back. Guys are going to find their game. There's no way that, this is, I just can't see with the leadership in the 2 players that they have that they're not going to be able to change this round. And I think we're going to look back at this month and be like, the fact that they hung around gave them a chance later in the season.
Yeah, exactly. Like it hasn't been pretty by any stretch of imagination, but it hasn't been ugly enough that they're in a big hole. They're kind of in a little crevice.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I like that small adjustment, right?
Yeah.
By bringing up a young player, like I don't think you have to make a major adjustment. It's just bringing in some young guys, and, and I think you kind of hang around, and then maybe at the trade deadline, you start to look at your roster and maybe make some bigger moves then.
Yeah. I think they need another scoring top 6 winger.
You think so?
Yeah. And I said this in the summer, and I still believe it. I said, I felt that the Oilers wouldn't enter the playoffs this coming season with the same goaltending tandem. I said that in the summertime. I thought it'd be a change would be made before the trade deadline. I don't think they'll have both of them by the playoff run. I could be wrong, but that's what I've been thinking ever since like July 1st.
But I just, where are you going to find this goalie? Like, they're not the only one that has some goaltending.
Yeah, I know. I never said it was going to be like a full-fledged. That's why I said it's going to be one of the 2. It might be Pickard, which means the other guy who come in isn't a big name, but it doesn't always have to be a big name who comes in. Like, look at a lot of these guys who have found homes elsewhere and are playing well. And so you look at which organization and the thing about goalies, man, it's a lot of things. It just seems like, hey, right place, right time. And, you're in a system, and all of a sudden this, when the Oilers play better defensively, which they've shown they're capable of, their goaltender doesn't, and their team isn't built salary structure wise for their goalie to have to save them all the games. Gonna have to save them some games, just not all the games. So that's still what I think between now and March 6th this year, the NHL trade deadline. There'll be a move. We'll see. We'll come back. We'll talk goalies with Kevin Woodley next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wow.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts. And play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned, with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie, and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
Mr. Rooter watches the big game.
Go deep!
What you watching, Mr. Rooter?
The Plumbing Olympics. Frankie Drain Dragon Sanchez is attempting to break the world record in the 100-meter snake. Watch! Wow! Did you see that? He snaked out a 50-pound clog. And in the middle of that wad, a gold medal. What theater?
Yeah, that's very cool, Mr. Rooter.
For a plumber who's good as gold, call Mr. Rooter.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and people who suffer brain fog might think it's just going to be part of their life. But listen, I've seen a 38-year-old mom managing a concussion read her kid a bedtime story without losing the plot, all because of cognitive rehab that rewires the brain like a GPS reboot. Your brain isn't broken, it's buffering. One missed beat in focus, memory, or balance snowballs into frustration, falls, or forgotten keys. Stroke, concussion, long COVID, even aging can all lead to brain fog. Cognitive rehab works. Check us out at leadingedgephysio.com before your next "where'd I put my phone" moment.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.226. Welcome back, Gregor, Brown, Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. As always, we appreciate it. Of course, the Oilers are taking on the Dallas Stars. It's their only game of the week this week until Saturday. So only weekday game. After a pretty hectic schedule, the Oilers have played the most games in the National Hockey League. They played the most road games, 16 out of 24 on the road. 6 of their next 7 are on home ice. Tonight against Dallas, and they're off. Then they play one game. They're in Seattle. So really, after Tuesday, they only play one game in like 7 days. So they'll get some rest And they should get some guys back. Kapanen on Saturday, Wallman maybe Saturday. Nugent Hopkins is a maybe for tomorrow. I think he's probably going to wait until Saturday. That's just my gut. So we'll see. But you get Kapanen and Nugent Hopkins back, and you look at their lineup, and all of a sudden you're like, oof, they got some pretty good depth. And then, hopefully guys keep scoring, and maybe they start to win a few games in a row. That would be their goal, I would assume. Now let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Remind you, Tuesday, Thursday, Sundays, the Fan Day deal, where you can get Big Mac, McChicken, or a filet of fish for only $4.49. But you got to use the app. So check it out at McDonald's. From In Goal Magazine and NHL.com, Kevin Woodley joins us once again. Woodley, my man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? Although I guess I'm a little scarred coming off last night's game between Vancouver and Calgary. Calgary wins 3 in a row for the first time all season, and their fans are pissed because they don't want them to win. And here in Vancouver, actually, we've got a fan base as they drop further down, like 30th, 31st in the overall standings, that's starting to ask the same questions about hey, you're trying to win and you're below a team that, or falling towards a team that should be trying to lose. Like, what's going on here? So that was ugly last night. That was not pretty at all. So hopefully we get a little more positivity on the show today here.
But players never I don't think an organization might have a plan to lose, but the players who are on the ice every night are like, I want to win. Like, I don't give a squirt about the first round draft pick. That's not keep me in the NHL. So it's always the manager can do it by weakening his lineup, right? You want to, if you want your team not to compete, then trade away Garland, trade away Kiefer Sherwood, and then you'll have a chance to get to bottom out if that's exactly what you want. But let's talk about a few things. Man, things change quickly in the goaltending position. Georgiev was an NHL goalie last year, Kevin. Started out in Colorado, got traded to Buffalo. Now he's out of the league and just signed the KHL. What happened?
Yeah, honestly, I liked him coming out of the Rangers. Every time he had a chance behind Lundqvist, it looked like he was a guy that was ready for more opportunity. Didn't react all that well when Shesterkin got there and sort of got passed over in terms of his play. And you heard a few things about maybe behind the scenes as well. Colorado was a good. I covered their series against Seattle, like against the Kraken, the year that the Kraken upset Colorado in the playoffs. I covered that series in person, and I didn't think Georgiev was the problem in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was fine. I thought, okay, build on that, and he didn't. I mean, if I could break it down tactically and technically, he just looked rigid. That was one thing that we saw even when he was with New York. Like, there was power, there was explosiveness, but there was a stiffness in his play. A rigidity, a tendency to really stick the hands out, and rather than letting pucks come to him, sort of stab at things a little bit. A vulnerability they identified back when he was with the Rangers to shots just over the pads. I don't know if all of that just came to fruition, if it was a combination of, you clearly lost the team in Colorado. You go to San Jose, a bad team, and you just can't keep them afloat, and it just kind of snowballed. If I'm breaking it down in terms of how he plays, though, it was that rigidity. Like, the game's become too fluid, too dynamic east-west. And if you've got a lot of sort of stiffness in your movement, it's really hard to keep up.
So I was driving home yesterday from our Strathcona Classic, and I'm listening to the radio, and I'm like, man, I know that voice. And obviously it was you covering the Canucks Calgary game there. Maybe talk a little bit about Dustin Wolf and how he's doing. I know he signed the big contract. He's a young goalie with lots of upside. Maybe talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, I was doing double duty last night. That's a tough one, doing intermissions on the radio and then actually trying to cover and write a story by the time the final whistle goes in the third period. I've had to do it a couple of times, and I enjoy it, but it's a little tough to keep your eyes on two tasks. I did enjoy watching Dustin Wolf through a closer lens last night. Like, the Canucks were all over them in the first period. They had 6 high danger chances. They scored once. Wolf stopped Jake DeBrusk on, which was pretty much a 2-on-0 drop pass from Quinn Hughes after breaking in. Stopped him on a breakaway on the power play. Made a save in the second that I just loved. Like, Vancouver's really activated their defense this year, and for all their troubles defensively, and they are near the bottom of the league defensively. Offensively, they're creating more. And they have this great play where backside D, Filip Hronek activates and gets a good seam pass, and he's in a great shooting position. And I think most goalies do one of two things coming across on that. They either slide or drop into a butterfly, or they come across into their post and they use a reverse VH, even though the play's a little higher in the zone. And what Wolf did was come across on his feet, and Hronek had beaten him early in the game with a high glove shot. And instead of using a butterfly, he used an old school traditional VH. The reverse VH is named because it's the opposite. So the lead pad against the post stays straight up in the air with that edge engaged. You put your glove over top of it, sort of build that short side coverage vertically. Now you've also got coverage along the ice in case Hronek tries to funnel something backdoor, because that back pad is down and sealed. And if he does try and go with a pass backdoor, that lead edge is loaded. It's usually a post play technique, but he used it on an open look on a guy coming downhill on a backdoor play and basically give Phil Hronek nothing on the play. And it was just one of those examples of a guy using an old school technique, having another tool in the toolbox, using his edge work, and just really fun to watch. Overall, this season for Dustin Wolf started terribly. He was underwater by the metrics. We could see it in the play. He was getting beat. They were giving up a lot in the slot, middle of the ice, where his size and conservative depth, as much as that allows him to almost never get beat laterally, it does expose some top of the net, and it was getting exposed early. Part of it is an adjustment by the Flames defensively. Part of it is an adjustment by him. He has looked really good from about November 1st on. There's been some blips, but overall the numbers since then are more towards where we expect them, top 10 in the league. And the guy that was, people were talking about like Hockey Night in Canada. They're looking for a backup goalie in Calgary. They're searching the market. Devin Cooley, despite a bad training camp and maybe losing the faith of his own organization, leads the National Hockey League in adjusted save percentage right now. So once he got the chance, and that's tough, that kind of pressure, late bloomer, that long to get into your opportunity, and the whole market's talking about how they need to replace you, and you have to sit on all that noise for 2 weeks between starts, and he delivers in each start so far. Like, hats off to Devin Cooley for what he's done there in a backup role.
Yeah, he's played very well. No question about it. It was an interesting weekend because we saw two teams have post consecutive shutouts with two different goalies. Colorado did it with their two goalies, and Scott Wedgwood's been unreal for them. He started 11 of 12 games in October. Then Mackenzie Blackwood's come in. Now, Wedgwood still started. Mackenzie started the first game of the month, but Wedgwood still started 6 of the last 10. They've yet to put Blackwood in consecutive starts. So my question is, Kev, when they do, how much of a split do you see this ultimately being now? Like, is it going to end up being 60-40 in favor of Blackwood because he's paid to be their starter? They probably think he's their starter. What do you think they do there?
I'll be curious to see, to be honest. I don't have the answer, Jason. I don't know which way they'll handle it. I'll be curious to see how they go, in part because one of the questions that surrounds Mackenzie Blackwood, who, if you've seen him in person, like, he's just a massive human being, right? Like, I've had other goalies that played with him. I remember Eddie Lack in New Jersey telling me this guy could be an NFL linebacker. He's so big. He's also been susceptible to injuries in his career. And I think a part of that is just the sheer size of him and the amount of force that's generated in a butterfly drop. Like, it's just not a good position for the human body. And so I'd be looking at it like, hey, as long as I can keep both guys on their game, and even if that's a 50-50 split, which we're seeing around the league, I mean, we're kind of seeing Dallas go towards it right now with Ottinger and DeSmith, right? They're coming in there tonight. They've gone back and forth a little bit more of late. Seeing other teams do that, why not? Like, if you can keep both guys sharp and get to the finish line with Mackenzie Blackwood feeling good about his game, feeling good about his health, considering that he may also end up on Team Canada and having to go overseas and the extra stress that'll cause on his body, I don't know why you wouldn't continue down that path, have both guys as options going into the playoffs, even if it creates a question once the playoffs start, but have a rested Mackenzie Blackwood who's physically healthy when it matters the most, and maintain, rather than risking losing what Scott Wedgwood is doing by parking him on the bench more regularly, have him as an option who still feels sharp and good about his game going into the postseason. I'd keep playing them both.
Minnesota also had consecutive shutout. Oiler fans, I know they're freaking out right now, and I get it because they traded down 2 spots to get Xavier Bourgault, and then Minnesota took Wallstead. And now Wallstead, his first 2 stints in the NHL were like a lot of young goalies, not great, but this year he's made 8 starts. He's 6-0-2. He's now got 3 shutouts in his last 4 starts. He's playing very well. Gustafson's game is all of a sudden, he's like, oh, wait, this guy's playing good. I got to up my game. And Minnesota is looking like a juggernaut all of a sudden. What do you make of the goaltending? And what do you make of Wallstead? I think he's the first goalie or only the second goalie since like 1944. The other one was Martin Jones to have 3 shutouts in his first 8 starts of a season. Obviously, he's not going to sustain that, but how good could this guy potentially be?
Well, first of all, he has one of the best nicknames in goaltending right now, like Wallstead, the Wall of St. Paul. Like, I'm all about that. Give me that all day long. I like that. So I don't know, to be honest with you. Like, the next question is, you've shown you can do it in the NHL, and full credit to him, because you're right, it didn't go well his first couple of times up, but he left there and learned from it and got better and adjusted. We had this conversation about Stuart Skinner years ago, like the importance of that first start, even when you head back to the minors afterwards, because you get your eyes open to what you're facing. And Wallstead, to me, like, I've always wondered if there's enough sort of athletic upside. Like, everything he does reminds me a little bit of Spencer Knight. Like, it's so technically clean and perfect. Was there enough athletic upside to have another level in him? And he's showing that. Now, the question is, hey, okay, now you're doing it in the NHL. Now, can you keep doing it, right? There will inevitably be a dip. It's not even so much that when the dip comes, it's how you react to it and how long does it last. And that's just inevitable for every young goaltender. But this is honestly, Jason, a level of success early on that the numbers didn't say was coming, that I didn't foresee coming this early in his career. We know what the pedigree is. We know what the promise is. I like the way he thinks the game in past conversations with him. And he seems to have put it all together a lot faster than I think any of us expected. And that bodes well, because Philip Gustafsson, you're right, up until this point, was kind of back on his trend, that old Craig Anderson trend of 1 year of excellence, 1 year of average. And this was going to be a year of average. And for, whether it's Wallstead pushing or whatever, now they're both going. And much like Colorado, that's a nice problem to have.
So you talked about the Chicago goalie about being technically sound. When you look at the Oilers goaltending, both of them, right? Like, are they more technical goalies, or do they have some athleticism that combined with their technical ability makes them good? Like, where would you say that with our goaltending, where would you say they're at?
Well, I mean, it's a range, right? And there's so many different aspects that go into that. And everyone is sort of like a sliding scale. But on the sliding scale between technical and more flow and feel, Calvin Pickard is on the extreme of the other side, right? Like, he is not a technician. There's still some things he does well technically. Every goalie has technique. Like, you can't get to this level without having it there. But his reliance on it, like, he's not a guy who's just there to put himself in position. He plays a lot of flow, a lot of extra movement, a lot of feel. And so, yeah, I wouldn't consider him on that sliding scale a technical goalie in any way, shape, or form. Stu sort of goes more towards the technical side a little bit. I think they're trying to unlock a little bit of the athleticism that we've seen, trying to maybe take some of that. I talked about it with Georgiev, right? That rigidity. There are times where it looks a little stiff. And I do think we've seen from him that he is capable of being a little more reactive and a little more sort of just athletic in the crease. The one thing that ties the two together, or that sort of middle ground between reliance on athleticism and being more technical, like putting yourself in position, that's the tactics, right? Like, the tactics that put yourself in a position to get hit. And I think the tactics for Stu are adjusting a little bit right now in terms of trying to put himself in a position more often where he doesn't have to rely on the athleticism, and putting himself in a position where he can use that big frame more easily, more efficiently, more effectively, more often. And, again, like, I know it hasn't gone as well as everyone hoped early on. The Oilers defensively are nothing like what they were last year. And I ran some numbers for you, Jason. But at the end of the day, there's also an adjustment between those two things for Stu that's going on right now that I think you got to understand is not a snap the fingers adjustment. It might take some time.
Yeah.
Who would you say is the best technical goalie in the league?
Oh, on the spot with that one.
I'll say I don't know anything about goaltending, but I'll say Hellebuck for me watching him.
Yeah, there's, absolutely. Interesting thing there, right? Like, he'll tell you, like, his whole philosophy is big and boring. Like, that's a phrase that Connor Halley uses, and that's what he's trying to do. Interestingly, though, his ability to be big and boring is fueled by an incredible ability to read the game. I've said it before on the show. Like, I think when it comes to processing the game and anticipation, Hellebuck's the closest thing we've had to Dominic Hasek in a long time. It's just when he executes off of it, it's with big and boring rather than barrel rolls, right? Like, so he thinks the game at a level that, like, it's uncanny, Sean. I've done video breakdowns with Hellebuck, and the play hits the blue line, an odd man rush, and he's not just telling you whether the guy's shooting or passing based on body language. He's telling you where he's shooting by the time he hits the top of the circles. Like, the processor with Connor Halley is a next level. And so it looks technical, but I think a lot of it is based on reads, and that allows him to hold his technique, hold his form longer and more patiently than other goaltenders. And without the read element, I think you would see him have to scramble a lot more, because technically he moves well, but there are other guys who are faster and more efficient on the technical side.
Kev, one last one. When you look, you mentioned Spencer Knight's having fantastic start for the Chicago Blackhawks, and there's lots of goalies around that have had good starts to this season. Like yesterday, not many teams could even score goals. I think there was 3 shutouts and lots of 1-goal games. I'm not sure there was a game that had both teams score 2 goals each, even. So which is kind of, or maybe Calgary and Vancouver. Did the Canucks finally?
Yeah, the Canucks had a late one on the power play that made it 5-2. Yeah.
Okay, so that made it 5-2. So there you go. But the offense is down a little bit this year from last year. Power plays are down, so I'm not surprised that that's where goals are down. But you look around. We've seen some goalies, like Thompson had a great start. He only allowed 17 goals his first 11 games. Now he's allowed 15 and 4. Maybe on the season it's still good, but is there a goalie that you've looked at around the league where you say, you know what, like his public numbers don't look that great, but I actually think he's played well?
Oh, that's a really good question, because it's probably Sorokin. It's probably Ilya Sorokin, and I couldn't even tell you. And this, what makes that a challenging question for me, Jason, is that I've gotten to the point where I don't pay much attention to the public numbers anymore. Just because I need the context, right? Like, I need the context.
He's got a 905 now. He was under 900 for a long time, but he's up to 905 save percentage.
His expected is one of the lowest in the league. It's 870. I don't know that everyone understands just how heavily the New York Islanders are leaning on Ilya Sorokin to stop bullets in his teeth behind that system right now. He's being asked to do a lot. Even Spencer Knight, as good as he's been, and his adjusted save percentage is 1 spot below Ilya Sorokin in the top 5 of the National Hockey League right now. Spencer Knight's environment is 895 compared to Sorokin's 870. That's like a 25-point difference between 2 goalies. And that's why I don't look at the raw numbers very much, because those are 2 totally different measurements. So it's apples to oranges comparing them given their environments. And Sorokin is a guy who, you might say he's good. And I think there's a reputation there, so people want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's been a lot better than even the 905 indicates, for sure. Another guy, and maybe this is just me, because I said he was due for a bounce back this year. Philip Grubauer has quietly, in very limited action, been very good relative to the environment in front of him. And Dan Vladar, again, not knowing what the public numbers say about him, he's been really good. Like, and I gotta give him mea culpa on that one. I didn't see that one coming for him in Philadelphia, even though we knew they'd be better defensively under Tocchet. I wasn't sure that what I saw in Calgary, outside of some really short samples where he would give them good play for a week or 2, I didn't know that would hold up to the degree it's holding up. He's 11th in the NHL right now in adjusted save percentage, and I didn't see that coming. I'm not sure a lot of people did, and he deserves full credit for it.
Awesome stuff, Kev. As always, we appreciate it, buddy. We will chat with you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it.
That's Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Always good to get a rundown on different goaltenders. And like I say, I don't think people realize how they're relying on Sorokin to stop pucks with his teeth. Got an 870 expected save percentage, but his actual save percentage is 905. So it's pretty solid. Take a quick break. We'll return. That's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So sit on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off. And with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
This Friday, 6 p.m. till midnight, don't miss the 71st annual Kinsman Radio Auction. The Kinsman Club of Camrose invites you to join the fun and support their largest fundraiser of the year. Bid on a huge selection of items donated by generous local businesses. All proceeds will help the Kinsmen serve our community's greatest needs. The Kinsman Radio Auction. For details, find them on Facebook. You can also join the bidding in person this Friday night at the Bailey Theater on Main Street, Camrose. Details on Facebook.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as well as YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thank you, as always, for listening, watching, being part of the show. We got a lot of texts flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, don't bring up Wallstead. Bothers me and many other Oilers fans. I get it, Aaron. I understand it. But unfortunately, there's he's in the league now. We can't ignore him. And I get the frustration from Oilers fans because I will say that was one, like I saw it the minute the trade was made. There was lots of people saying, what are they doing? There's a goalie they could have drafted. They opted not to. And it's worked out. And Kevin even said probably maybe quicker than even some of the goalie people thought. So that's, it's good for them. I never jump on board to say, hey, is he going to be a better NHLer right now than Xavier Bourgault? Yeah, because he's in the NHL. And Bourgault is not in the NHL and doesn't look like he might ever be in the NHL. So it's a mix. Now, how good can he be? That I don't know. But it's clear he's an NHL goalie. Even if he doesn't play another game, he's played in the NHL at this point, and he's already got 3 NHL shutouts. So not bad in a season where he's only made 8 starts this year. So it's that is one where those of you who were adamant they should have picked him, you were correct. Good on you, because clearly that was a swing and a miss by but that regime is not here. This head scout's not here. The GM's not here. It's new guys. So hey, the guy who just played, Connor Clattenburg, was drafted only a few years ago. So how many fifth rounders? I should look. How many people from that draft class of Clattenburg are from fifth rounders? I'm going to say not many.
He was a 5th round pick?
Yeah, he's a 5th round pick. So 2 years ago. So the fact that he's in at 20, already got in a game and is probably going to play a second game maybe tomorrow, that's a good start for him. No question. Yeah, he's the only 5th rounder. Who's any 4th rounders, Con?
4th round, nope. 3rd round, nope. 2nd round, just 1. Harrison Brunicky.
Okay, so 1st rounders and 1 2nd rounder, and now Clattenburg is the 5th rounder. Any 6th and 7th rounders?
1 7th rounder.
Who's that?
Nikita Prishepkov. Nope. Prishepov for Colorado is where he was drafted. Played with Colorado. Yeah.
How many games?
10 games last year.
And now he's not in the league this year?
This year he's played 1 game with the Eagles in the AHL.
Oh, okay. All right. See, there you go. So, hey, not bad for Clattenburg. It's early on, but it's a good start for him. Let's get to the oil report now. Brought to you by Go Auto, where hey, if you're looking for an automobile, no better place to look than GoAuto.ca. They have over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. As someone as picky as Sean Brown could even find a vehicle at GoAuto.ca. Now, speaking of Mr. Clattenburg, here's a conversation. I caught up with Mr. Clattenburg a few days after he made his NHL debut, and you still couldn't wipe the smile off his face, nor should you. Obviously, he's pretty excited, 20-year-old, and you saw maybe if you were watching the broadcast or not, some of the questions Gene had asked him about his dad, so we kind of got into that.
Connor, I heard your interview. You're saying how you didn't really believe it when you originally got the call. Your dad did an interview and said it was a really emotional call. Yeah. Can you kind of take me through how excited that was for you to call your parents and tell them?
Yeah, no, it was just the first thing I thought of was just calling them and letting them know. And I think he was working, so he had to step away, and I could hear all these things going on in the background. But it was just emotional for him, emotional for me, and same with my mom. They just supported me through this whole thing. So it was just the first people I could think of.
You have a very unique style. Some would say a little bit of an old school guy who wants to play physical. There's definitely spots for that around when you bring that. What about the other elements of your game? We saw you score in the preseason. Like it's not just that you're physical. Does that part come natural, and now it's just working more on developing the skill and the other areas of your game?
Yeah, for sure. It's just a lot of hand stuff I need to work on, and just get better with the puck in my hands. But I'm always trying to get better at being away from the systemly, being good defensively, offensively. Even when I hit, it creates chances for other guys. So I want to make room for my line mates as well. And if I get the chance, I just bear down on each chance I get.
Have you always, from a young age, been a guy who likes to agitate?
Yeah, I don't know if it just started with me and my sister fighting. I don't know, but it's just something I always like to carry on, and it just fires me up each game to be able to get in there and stir something up.
Well, I saw the interview where your sister said you've always been a pain in the butt. So obviously you have a good relationship now as adults, but do you credit your sister for adding to your grittiness a bit?
Yeah, I think I definitely started off with her and just carried in my gene, I guess, to just keep playing that way. And it's been fun doing it every day.
Drafted a few years ago. You get drafted in this organization, obviously thrilled. They're a very good team, but you're a 20-year-old, you get called up, and in your first game, you find yourself, I don't know what shift it was, that you're on there with McDavid. Did you kind of almost have to pick, hey, I'm in the league, but now I'm on the ice with McDavid?
Yeah, I didn't, my head was kind of spinning all game, so I didn't even realize until I got the opportunity in front that he was on the ice with me. So, that was an unbelievable moment, and it was the first thing my parents said is, you're on the ice with Dave. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool and a dream come true.
So maybe on the flight home, is that when it's a long flight? Is that when it's sunk in? Like, hey,
I made it. Now I want to stay here, but I made it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just sitting down on that plane and how nice that plane is. Yeah, it's like the seat just lays flat. So it's definitely something I want to continue doing, and it just makes it even better having travel like that.
So you look ahead to tomorrow. What did you like about the first game? And do you feel that tomorrow will be easier just because you're a little bit more comfortable? There won't be as many nerves.
Yeah, definitely. And Florida's one of the top teams, and they won the cup multiple times, and they're a hard team to play against. And it's a good game to step into. It's a fast game, and even tomorrow, it's a good team again. And I think I'll feel better going into tomorrow's game, just having one game under my belt, and I know what to expect. So, just taking it in tomorrow.
Obviously excited. I think he knows the big picture, and you get a few games in, and obviously he wants to stay as long as he can. But the reality of Nugent Hopkins and Kapanen get activated, they're coming on the roster like Captain Obvious here, right? So some two guys got to go off. Doesn't take a rocket science to figure out who that's going to be probably. So, but he got in. Step one is to make the NHL for a lot of guys, and then step two is of course to try to stay there, and it's hard. It's very hard to make the NHL. It's harder to stay there for long term. And I don't think anybody thought, myself included, that he was going to be in the NHL this season, even if it's only for a few games. So I think that's awesome. And I think Clattenburg, just his will and desire to play the role that he wants to play, Brownie. There's a guy that part's easy, comes natural for him, right? That comes natural. Now it's about improving your skills, getting on the penalty kill. I asked him about the penalty kill. He told me, before I got called up, he played a few shifts the last few games on the PK. And, that's something that, and this is where it's hard, but I think if you're Connor Clattenburg, when you go back down there, you talk to the coach, say, okay, coach, I want to get on the penalty kill if I can. I might only be in the third pair to start, but I got to get in some penalty kill minutes down in the American League. So hopefully that allows me, if I do get up to the NHL in the future, that I can be a penalty killer.
Yeah. I love that interview. I love the fact that he knows who he is. He's comfortable with who he is and how he has to play. And now, like any player that wants to play in the NHL or have a long career in the NHL, you got to develop areas around your game to keep you in the NHL. I don't think, it's important for everyone to have an identity to their game. So you know exactly what the team and the coach is going to get when he brings you up or puts you out on the ice. But yeah, I mean, take advantage of the situation that you're in with some injuries and the fact that the team is looking for a spark and some energy. But when you do go down, yeah, it's important. And that's what the American Hockey League's about. And that's what the coaching staff will probably, start to work with, is being like, hey, how can we round out your game? How can we make you an everyday NHL player as quick as we can? And he seems like a guy that's willing to put in the work. And, the fact that that's those kids, that used to play that style, I don't want to say they're a dime a dozen, but there seem to be a lot more of them. And now they seem to be harder to find, right? And the fact that he's, comfortable with that, right? As an organization, as a coach, what you have, and it's important to know all the players that you have in your organization and what they bring, right? Because I think it obviously would make it easier for GMs to know the holes and areas they got to get better at, or who they have to pick and draft and make trades for. So I think that's important for guys to get drafted. They get drafted for a certain reason, and to play to that identity, and then obviously, continue to, grow your game around that. So I'm excited. That was a fun interview to listen to, because it kind of brings you back to, when, my time when I got brought up, and you talk about the planes, you talk about the arenas that you're going into, the cities that you're going into, and just how exciting that is. And there's nothing like the NHL and how they treat you on and off the ice. And like you say, you get to play with some guys that, for years you've been watching, Hockey Night in Canada, through your junior career, you're watching these guys on TV, and then all of a sudden you get an opportunity to play with them. So hopefully, like he said it, as he starts to feel comfortable each game, as guys start to make him feel comfortable with the environment, it's only going to help him and bring other areas of his game. And I think, you're never going to make a 2 a 10 as far as, he's not going to, all of a sudden start using apparatuses and become like Connor McDavid and have his hands.
No.
Right. But, that
you can improve.
You can definitely improve. But the one thing that you can't be is something that you're not. And if he's that physical guy and he has that, and that's built into him, that's what he's always been. That's that is great because you can't teach that. There's no hockey school for that.
No, like it's hard to be a pest and a rat, Brownie, because not a lot of people like you when you're on the ice, right? That's a hard. If there's a reason why there's a very limited list of players who are rats and pests, because it's a hard job to do, right? Like there's almost like you think about in the league right now, how many rats / pests would you say there is? Is there even 10?
I don't know who they would be, right?
Like Nick Cousins would be one. I think AJ Greer is one. I think Brad Marchand is a highly skilled pest and a rat.
Bennett,
right?
Florida.
Even Bennett, Bennett's physical and he'll hit you, but he doesn't really he doesn't yap at guys. Like he doesn't say much, right? Like he just stares through you sometimes. But I'm not even he's aggressive and physical, but I don't even know if I'd have Sam Bennett in the rat category because he doesn't really he's physical and he'll hurt you, but he doesn't go around and stick guys.
Yeah, like a Cook.
Yeah, Matt Cook was one, but Nick Cousins, there's not many. You think if there's on any given year, like last year, there's only one, but you think about how many 100-point scorers there are in the league. There's not many.
Yeah,
there's not many rats because it's really hard to do. And so if Clattenburg can be a rat, and I say that as a compliment because it's a hard job to be the guy where you got to play high energy, you got to piss people off, and you got to be ready to go. And not even that you fight lots, but it's just you got to have your radar on all the time because something's coming to cheap shot.
Well, I always think that you're always making a hard game harder.
Yeah.
Right. Because when you're playing that way, you're kind of putting a bullseye on your back. Right. And to play that way, even if you're not a fighter, if you're going to play that way and you want to have some respect, right, you got to answer the door every once in a while. Right. And that's not easy for anybody. So, it's, it's kind of, they are hard to find. I mean, there used to be probably one or two, I would say on every team it seemed like you played with, but with every team that had one or two, they also had a heavyweight and a guy that, did a lot as far as making it comfortable for that guy to play that style of game. The one thing is he's not just a rat, he's willing to back it up. And when someone is able to play the style of his game and, get in there and play physical and, with that comes, times where you have to stick up for yourself and your teammates, and the fact that he's willing to do that, like I said, I mean, that guy is valuable, and I'm glad that the Oilers have that guy in their organization, and it's now time for them to work with him to enhance his skills and find a way to make sure he can get up here and add that different dimension so that he can stay in the league for a long time.
Yeah. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
7 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. You got the Lightning hosting the Flyers, Red Wings in Jersey, Rangers hosting the Blues, Blue Jackets up against the Caps, Preds host the Panthers, Golden Knights in Utah, and the Sens taking on the LA Kings in the NFL. Week 12 concludes with the Niners hosting the Panthers. That gets going at 6:15 in the association. Should be a good one. Raptors, Cavs at 5. You'll also have the Pistons taking on the Pacers, Heat host the Mavericks, Nuggets taking on the Grizz, Bucks and Trailblazers, and the Jazz taking on the Golden State Warriors. Canadian curling trials action tonight. Draw 8 will have the Coulee Rink taking on McEwen, Jacobs versus McDonald, the Dunstone and Gushu, and Epping and Kleider. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and talk some Toronto Raptors with Eric Smith. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocks.yeg.com.
We want orange. Give us the orange. We want orange. Bring back the orange.
You got it, Canada. Booster Juice orange smoothies are back by popular demand. The original, the marathon, and orangesicle smoothies are back and bursting with tangy zest of oranges. They're Canadian favorites. Orange, you glad they're back? Only for a limited time. So squeeze the day, smoothie lovers, and head to a Booster Juice near you now. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Stories are told to make a point, and GS Construction takes them very seriously. We're not talking about fairy tales. GS Construction looks at the story old pipes tell us, a tale of time and pressure and endurance. So when those old pipes are ready to end their story, GS Construction starts a new chapter by repairing or rebuilding, or in some cases, renewing the underground infrastructure that supports our modern lives, making sure every community's story continues on safely and reliably. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Sports 1440 is proud to support the Camrose Kinsman Radio Auction. Tune in Friday from 6 p.m. to midnight, live from the Bailey Theatre on our sister station, New Country 98.1. All proceeds go to the Kinsman Club of Camrose to serve the community's greatest needs. For more, visit sports1440.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.310, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. It is interesting how, sometimes one move, one decision can really alter how things are going. I don't know how many of you remembered the exact date, because I didn't. I had to look it up. I knew it was close, but I wanted to look it up to get the exact proper date. But it was actually a year ago today, on the 24th of November, when Chris Drury sent a memo to the other 31 NHL general managers saying that he was open for business, citing multiple players available, Chris Kreider, Jacob Trouba, amongst others. And it's a memo that, if you look back in time, because at that time, the Rangers were 12-6-1. No, not bad, right? 12-6-1. They were playing .658 points percentage hockey. You're thinking, hey, that's That's pretty good. Now you fast forward to a year later. So remember, they were playing 658 hockey. Now you fast forward to a year later, and since that memo went out, the Rangers are 37-41-8, playing 477 hockey. Trouba got traded. Kreider is on the Ducks. Well, they're both on the Ducks now. And the Rangers missed the playoffs last year. They're actually 27th in the NHL last year in that time. And so I'm trying to look at what would their points percentage be from a year ago till today. Oh, yeah, that's right. 27th. So be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. I know there's lots of Oilers fans. I can't believe it that people are actually buying into the, Chris Knobloch should be fired statement that's coming out right now. Like there's so much BS that's being spread around right now. Oh, the Oilers changed their system. No, they didn't. They hadn't changed their system at all this year from last year. Why would they? Been very successful. They went to the Cup Finals. And you know what? Like that's the base of their foundation. They dominated Dallas and Vegas en route to get into the Stanley Cup final last year. Some people forget that. And now, if Zach Hyman's healthy, best forechecker could have been different. Maybe. I don't know. But give Florida credit. They outplayed him. Full stop. I don't think anybody debates that. But now you're going to fire Chris Knobloch after 24 games, 16 of them on the road, where a lot of the games, the players simply did not play well. Not due to the system. Some bad goaltending, some terrible giveaways, lack of offense. And you want to fire the coach? Like, no offense, that is capital C clueless. I'm not even contemplating firing my coach right now if I was Stan Bowman.
Yeah, I don't know where those websites are or where you're seeing that, but yeah, I mean, they're just not. It's they've played a lot of hockey, and this is the NHL. And the one thing about the NHL right now is this league is tough to win year after year, and it doesn't matter what you did the year before, but Knobloch has done nothing probably for the last couple of years other than push the right buttons on this team. And I have all the confidence in the world that, every team, throughout a season goes through slumps and times where they're not playing well. And it's unfortunate that the Oilers for the last number of seasons just continually get off to a slow start. But I think with having those two best players, it's just a matter of time before they kind of build off this. Getting through a road trip like that, where it's that long and that big of a grind, and the fact that their last game against Florida, like that's not an easy game to play. Yeah. Right. I thought if anything in the third, you dread the third period, right? You can grind through the first, two, but you're like, oh man, that third period, it's tough. And, good on them for, that's not easy. So getting back here, playing tomorrow against Tuesday against Dallas, it's going to be good. I mean, if they can come off to a good start, get a win and build on, that's the key, is they just got to find a way to just continually build. Yeah. Right. And if they can do that, with the two best players and goaltending get some confidence, they're a team, obviously can, turn this around and they can go on a run here. They're a dangerous team.
833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Oof. Now this is a big story. I want to get to the bottom of this one. Hey, Brownie, is it true that you're going to be playing for the Toefield Satellites?
Oh, no, absolutely no, not at all. Brownie needs to lose about 10 pounds. So I went out there for a skate just to burn some calories, and I actually made a horrible call. So my buddy Jeff Van England, he runs a team. So I texted him. I was like, hey, do you mind if I come out for a skate? And I don't know how many guys they have on the roster. I think they have like 30 guys, but obviously everyone's working and it's busy, and it's Toefield and it's out of town. So they're always missing players. So I went out there and I was like, you know what? I want to get into I want to battle a little bit. I want to get into some drills. Holy Jesus. I take that back, man. I was sucking wind. So I was like, Jeff, he wanted to do some conditioning. So he was drawing up a drill. I was like, oh, that drill sucks. Let's do this 2-on-2 continuous. It's kind of fun. And so anyway, we did this drill. There wasn't enough bodies. There wasn't enough air in the building. And I thought of the drill, and literally I look behind me. I'm taking a knee. I look behind me. Everyone else is taking a knee. Nobody wanted, nobody wanted to go.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was dying. It's just amazing how.
Well, you forgot that there wasn't 4 lines out there. Like, oh, we're out here with 8 forwards. This drill's gonna be great.
Yeah.
After a minute.
Yeah. It was tough, but it was fun. But anytime. You know what it's like you can play hockey and you can play shinny, but when you start leaning and touching guys and getting into the battle, it changes and it becomes a different game. So it was fun being out there. It's Tofield's I think I know it's their first year in the league. So they got it. You know what? I almost felt like it was going back in time to a breakout hockey camp, because a lot of the kids that were on the ice, well, they're men now. I finished their junior career and finished school and kind of getting into the real world. So it was a lot of the kids that I've worked with in the past that are now playing in that league.
So you won't, well, why, buddy, why not look at it as a challenge? Jaromir Jagr's still playing. Why can't you just get in shape? Just go out for, skate for a month. We should do it as a challenge. You could see this could be your New Year's resolution.
Yeah. I do. I do like playing, and it is fun doing drills and stuff, but I'm trying to get over. I'm still struggling with this sciatic. So if anyone out there has any suggestions or ideas on helping me get through this,
your sciatic still bugging you?
It still bothers me. I still have a hard time feling, my toes on the right. And I've done so. I'm done. It's so frustrating.
You're done with yoga?
Well, I don't do. I stretch. I've stretched more now than I've ever stretched.
Are you more can you touch your toes?
Oh yeah, I can touch, but it just doesn't feel like it's releasing. So
your hamstrings tight?
You could play the guitar on them. They are so tight. It's crazy.
Well, isn't that normally they say tight hamstrings usually leads to a lot of back problems?
I believe it. Yeah, literally. My hamstrings, the more I stretch and roll out, and
your hammies aren't loosening up.
They're not loosening up. So
have you went to a masseuse today? Try to loosen up?
I've had active release and shockwave.
Oh yeah, and shockwave. All of it.
I've had it all, and it just it was to the point where I could get surgery or get a needle, but obviously I'm not going to do any of that. So I'm just going to try.
Surgery for what?
On my back. Oh. So I guess my disc is kind of deteriorating, and just a few things going on. So
well, that's pretty serious.
Yeah,
deterioration, but that's kind of normal for lots of athletes.
Well, yeah,
it's a wear and tear on your body when you're playing pro sports, right? Well, so that's you wouldn't be the first. Have you talked to guys who have? Are you just worried about if you have the surgery, it can go wrong? Is that
no? If I can deal with it, I would rather not have surgery. I can deal. It's not so bad that I can't deal with it. I'm just.
But don't you think it'll get worse? When you're 60, you'll need it for sure.
Yeah.
And recovery time will be harder.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to have to get surgery if I don't necessarily need it. I think I will probably adjust some things in my life. If I can't play hockey anymore, that's not the worst thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just you're right. I think that, as an athlete, it's good to be healthy. And one thing that I think when, you're trying to be an elite athlete in your training, it's not normal for your body to be training like that. That's probably not overly healthy for you too. Right. So at the end of the day, it's not, it could be worse. My body's in pretty good shape. I think just over a period of time, when you put your body through the stress that I did, and I wouldn't change it, it just kind of comes with it. But like I said, if I have to I can get around the ice and I can have fun and I can play. It's just the competitive days and trying to overcompete. I'm good for coming out to the satellite practices, but I would never, I don't need anyone. No, especially in those leagues, because they're running around, they're still fighting and carrying on. It's not, no thanks. I don't really need to.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Look at what happened to Smitty last time he played senior men's, right? Didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he got rocked. Yeah.
It's kind of a young man's game.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I'm at in my life.
All right.
And I'm okay with that.
No. That's totally fair. Yeah. So, we had a lot of texts, people wondering. So, no, Brownie will not be suiting up for the satellites.
Yeah.
The Tofield Satellites. Sick name, by the way.
They got a pretty good team out there.
Do they have just a big satellite as the logo on the front, or what do they have?
Jesus, I'm trying to think. They had some practice jerseys. I didn't have one. I didn't even get one. They didn't even offer one.
Well, buddy, you're just a newbie. You're not worthy of the Tofield Satellite practice jersey yet. That's what I'm here. You're still, buddy. You're in the lower leagues. You couldn't even finish your own drill. You couldn't even finish your own drill.
we're actually doing an angle drill, and one of the coaches out there, I think he was trying to tell me something about the angle and the poor. I don't know if he was suggesting that I
don't know how to
angle or use my stick or get up the ice more. I was like, man, I'm far from being coachable right now.
I can't even get in the lane. What are you talking about? Hey, boys, Pete Vandermeer's still playing. He's 50. Vandermeer brothers, they're pretty tough.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
And
those guys are like, there are certain people that just, they kind of like fighting.
Yeah.
Right? Some guys who fought, they like fighting. There's a few of the Vandermeer brothers, they like fighting.
That's the one thing that was scary
And
when you play. Like, there's tough guys, right? And then there's guys like you said that like fighting, like to get hit, and that's the big difference, right? It's scary, and the fact that they're at that age, and I think they're still running around and still think they have that edge to their game. I just no, thank you.
Have you before we go, have you seen our buddy Grant Fedork at Leading Edge Physio? Well, that's who you probably need to see. He's fixed a lot of people.
Yeah,
no joke.
Yeah.
No, look up with them. Now he might need a step stool to see you, but he knows it.
He's just a little guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Something's got to give here at some point.
It's going to be hating that right now, but that's awesome. It was just a little guy, but he knows his stuff. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, I'll connect you with him.
Yeah.
He'll figure out a way to get your sciatica fixed.
How are you doing? You're an active guy.
Yeah, but I've never had a sciatica. That's why I'm like, what's like sciatica? No, knock on wood. I don't have many, but now I'm about as flexible as a crowbar though, funny enough. So that's, lucky enough I haven't had any, but I'm on the blades. Like we practice 3 times a week right now with my team. So, and I actually did a drill. So I wanted to see a drill. I lined up a puck right in the slot, because I'm trying to teach our kids we got to go stops and starts and then shooting in motion, right?
Yeah.
Not over stick handling the puck. Because I know they go to the academies, and this academy is all about stick handle. I'm like, you don't have to dust the puck off every single time, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to shoot it, just have it on your stick, a sweep shot, and then just a skate in motion, just shoot the puck without stick handling at one. So I put a puck in the slot, right in between the hash marks.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like at an angle. Then the next puck was kind of in the middle of the slot, and the last puck was on the ringette line.
Yeah.
So I started guy low, hard out to the blue line, stop, come back in, shoot in motion, stop on the net. So because a lot of times you circle off, right? Then you go all the way back to the blue line, come in. I want you to bring in a sweep, take a stride with it on your stick, shoot, stop, come back out, pick up the third one, quick deke, like one stick handle, shoot, right, done.
Yeah,
dude,
is that the same kid?
Yeah, kid. Yeah,
it's like a bag skate.
A little bit, yeah. But I did it myself. So because we have a special coach who comes out every Tuesday morning to run our practice. So they were down at the other end. I'm like, I'm just going to try this, see if it's too hard or not.
Yeah.
So I did it.
Yeah.
And then I did. I'm like, okay, yeah, not bad. So I waited. I'm like, okay, I want him to do it twice. So let's see. I'm like, 2 minutes, 2.5. What I did the second time, I was dying. Like I'm just like, and I'm like, but I'm like, hey, you know what? And I'm not in game shape. Like I have the kids skating, so they did it, and they're pretty tired, but it's good. They got to learn like stopping, starting, working hard. And I'm like, don't keep stride, because they get to that third one, and now they want to coast into the puck, and I'm no. So because a lot of times kids they need to know that they can push through the threshold. So as a coach, every now and then you got to show them that you can still do stuff.
Yeah.
That's not going to last much longer, but I am still faster than them today. But I know it's coming to an end.
How often do you get your skates done?
Sharpen. I'm not skating that hard. Probably once a month.
Oh, that often?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I get mine done like once a year.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't find like, do you go fast when you're demoing, or do you go slow, or?
Well, I go, but like that drill, I'll do some drills. I'll do.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's a pretty straightforward stop and start.
Chase the rabbits and stuff every now and then. Right? Yeah. Every now and then I'll jump in a little drill. Kids just show them bar down.
Yeah. They like.
Oh,
how much longer do you have before?
Oh no, that's what I said. Like doing it now.
You're running out of time.
U15 might be the last year. Well, this might be the last year, because then it's into U15. It's like, geez, So yeah, it'll be. But it forces me to stay in shape. So that's what I like. Because I'll be like, they might be able to be quicker in a sprint one way, but I'm like, I still pretty sure if we have to go climb the mountain, I can climb the mountain quicker.
You're doing drills like that? Climb the mountain?
Not very, no. But we did some off ice running the hills, and then I dominate on that one.
Okay.
We'll take a quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the noodle almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle-noodle at oodle-noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodle-noodle.ca. Oodle-noodle.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tanks. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I'm making my list, checking it twice. And guess what? I'm giving Wilhock beef jerky to everyone, naughty and nice. Because honestly, everyone deserves a taste of Alberta's finest, no matter if they've been bad or good. So this holiday season, skip the chocolates and pass on the turkey. Make sure you're Wilhocking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Ho, ho, ho!
Call to place your pre-order today at 780-986-2537.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$329. Welcome back. Sports 1440. Man, we got a lot of texts about the Tofield satellites. Who knew? Who knew? Tough league out there.
Hey, they're looking for guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you got some skill and probably some toughness, I'm sure they'd take you out there.
Okay.
Good group of guys. They had some beers after the skate.
Oh, well, it's kind of normal.
Yeah.
I remember growing up as a kid, and Tofield used to have behind and the rink's obviously been upgraded. This is a long time ago. But I still remembered because we played a game in there. We had a guy on our team, Russell Beatty, and he could just the guy, not maybe the most skilled player, but fast, and he hit everything. That's what he loved to do, in your Bantam, which now U15. And I remember they used to have behind the one end of the rink in Tofield, they had chicken wire, thick wire up on the. And he went in there once and he hammered this guy against the boards, and his helmet ran up against the chicken wire, and sparks were flying all over the place. And you're just what kind of rink are we playing in here right now? God,
it could be one of the coldest rinks.
Yeah, well, dude, that's honestly, that place was like Phoenix compared to Mundare. The Mundare Arena.
Because you're new to rep there. Right?
Yeah. But Mundare Arena in the 80s, that was a cold. I remember we had kids on our team crying on the bench. Their feet were so cold. Oh. And I remember you brought a thin toque and you'd wear it under your helmet. It was so cold in there. It was unreal. And I've never had my feet that cold, but I remember kids on our team, I don't know, Mite or Pee Wee, and sitting on the bench, you're hitting, my feet are killing me. It was the coldest barn I've ever played in. I know some people say Redwater. I never played in Redwater.
Oh, okay.
But the Mundare Arena, without question, is by far the coldest arena I've ever played. Not even close. Not even close. Now, our next guest, I learned from reading his book, never played hockey, but was a huge basketball guy. So I don't know if there's an equivalent to the coldest hockey rink. What would be would it be what's the most uneven basketball court? I'm not sure, but we'll find out as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment, innovative sports leader. They own the Seattle Thunderbirds, of course, also owners of the Spruce Grove Saints, HSL, and more. Started the women's league, girls Hockey. They do a lot for hockey, Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment. Eric Smith, longtime reporter of the Raptors. He's now the author, We the Raptors, celebrating the 30 years of the Raptors, 30 players, 30 different stories. It's a fantastic read. Eric, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Excellent. So what would be, I know you grew up, when I read your forward that you didn't play hockey growing up, but so what would be the equivalent of was there the worst basketball court that you played on?
I mean, there are a lot of bad basketball courts. I'll tell you, when I first started playing a lot, it was just the hoop in the driveway. That was kind of part of the intro in the book, as well as I talked about the old plywood backboard that I had on the eaves trough of my parents' house above the carport. And it was like a banner day when we upgraded to the Huffy plexiglass or fiber plexiglass backboard on the pole, cemented into the ground on the driveway. That was a massive upgrade, let alone playing on some of the rougher courts around the GTA and whatnot before basketball really took off. And now you go driving around, at least in Southern Ontario and in the Greater Toronto area, there are basketball courts all over the place, and they're paved nicely, and there are glass backboards, and you have actual mesh. Man, back in the day, you were lucky if you had a chain mesh, let alone a rim that just had nothing on it, with divots and grooves all into the playground and whatnot at a school that might actually have a basketball hoop up. So it certainly has changed as the sport has taken off over the course of the lifetime of the Raptors and the growth of basketball, again, especially here, but I'm sure in Alberta and across the country as well.
Well, Eric, I know we've had you on the show for decades, coming on my show for years. And honestly, I didn't know you. I knew you were obviously a basketball guy. I didn't know that it was really entrenched. Basketball was your thing. And I was a crazy sports nut about it at a young age. So for you then to get to cover basketball is a thrill. And then to write a book about the franchise for 30 years, that when you look at things you've done in your career, that's got to be near the top of the list as far as entertainment and something that you're really passionate about, I would think.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, I'm in the arena right now getting set for the Raptors and Cavaliers. I know it looks like I might be in a hostage situation or something, but I'm in one of the offices down in the bowels of the arena at Scotiabank Arena. And quite honestly, just before I even answer that question that you just asked me, just to sort of tie in the hockey angle, not that we have to make everything about hockey here, but even thinking back to when it all started for the Raptors, part of the book, we write about how the court used to be at then Skydome, Rogers Center, when the Raptors first started in 95, 96 and playing at Skydome, and the court being essentially between home plate and first base, if people could get a vision of what the dome looks like. That's where the court was, and they had temporary stands built sort of around second base, third base, and then down the third base line. That's where you would have the benches and the court dimensions itself, if I'm painting the picture accurately. But in those first couple of seasons, the Raptors also played neutral site games at then Copps Coliseum in Hamilton and also at Maple Leaf Gardens. So for a guy that was let's just be clear, I didn't play hockey, but I still loved hockey. I probably played street hockey every day of my life. I loved playing goalie in street hockey. I used to paint the mask and have the old couch cushions for pads on my legs and whatnot. And as a guy that grew up a Leaf fan, a Sabres fan, a Gretzky fan, whatever it might be, to be in Maple Leaf Gardens and in the bowels of that arena and seeing that place up close and personal, but also under the dimensions and under the guise of a basketball game, not just a hockey game. And I can remember specifically Shaq and the Lakers coming to town. That was one of the games at Maple Leaf Gardens back in the day where the Raptors, before Air Canada Center opened, they played the Lakers, and there's Shaq in a tiny little visitors locker room that was maybe the size of probably fit about 8 people in it. I don't know how a full hockey team ever would stay in there, but there were the 7-footers of Eldon Campbell and Shaquille O'Neal trying to cram their way into a visitor's locker room. So anyways, going back to your question, seeing it kind of come full circle for me as a kid that grew up with this love and this passion for sports in general, but for baseball and basketball being my two primary sports as a kid and as a young athlete, to get a chance to cover the Raptors and to then ultimately become a broadcaster with the team. And now I'm in my 21st season as the play-by-play voice of the team, and to have won a championship or seen the team win a championship back in 2019, to now write a book about this and to reconnect with so many of the players that I covered over the 30 years. It's been quite the ride, to say the least. And, knock on wood, it only continues to keep going for another 5, 10, 15 years, however long they'll let me do this.
What I find unique about that book is, you got 30 players in 30 years. You covered a lot of guys, right? So you got to know certain ones, and I'm sure there's man, you know what? Was there one guy, like, who are this? And not necessarily, everybody always want, like Kyle Lowry, you want to talk to the big stars, I get it. But who, like, you knew the team intimately, and sometimes some of the best storytellers are kind of like, you know, those the glue guys on the team, you know, the bench depth, you know, third and fourth liners in hockey. Who are some of the guys that you were adamant that you had to get in the book?
You know, to be clear as well, so the audience knows, that's what the whole root of this book was. That if it's fair to call it a thesis, I'm not smart enough to really write something with that involves a thesis. But the general theme of the book was to write a book about the guy behind the guy. I kind of steal that line from the old movie Swingers with Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. And I say this respectfully to Sean, like glue guys, right? Grit guys and the depth guys on a team. So when we talk about the Toronto Raptors specifically, I won't put either of you on the spot, but I will say, and most people seem to agree with me, the top 5 for the Raptors are locked in whatever order you want to put them in. It's Kyle Lowry, it's DeMar DeRozan, it's Kawhi Leonard, it's Vince Carter, it's Chris Bosh. Those are the 5. We can argue about the positioning of those guys. But with due respect to those guys, we've heard from them a ton, and rightfully so. They are the best of the best in franchise history. But what about Jose Calderon? What about Jerome Williams and Matt Bonner and Antonio Davis and Alvin Williams and Doug Christie and Norm Powell and Charlie Villanueva, and the list goes on, Patrick Patterson, Danny Green, all these different dudes that when you looked up into the stands over the course of this franchise's history, you saw tons of their jerseys. Fans supported those players as well. They weren't just supporting Kyle and DeMar and Kawhi and Bosh and Vince. They were supporting these other guys, Jonas Valanciunas, Jorge Garbajosa, Amir Johnson. Fans loved those guys as well. So what if we wrote a story or a book about those guys and put together a collection of 30 short stories involving those players? What if we got their lens and their perspective on the top moments in franchise history and got it from their perspective, not just from the regulars that we always seem to hear from? That's what this book was ultimately about. And I think, you know, at the risk of breaking my arm, patting myself on the back, I think it's why there's been some success so far with the book, because I think people are enjoying hearing from those other guys, because this fan base, I can tell you guys, in hockey as well, in baseball, and definitely in basketball, as much as Toronto loves, and I think probably every city loves the Stars, think about baseball. Think about the Jays and the run that they just had. Yeah, people in Toronto love Vlad and they love Bo Bichette, and go back in history, they love Roy Halladay and they love Vladimir Guerrero or Jose Bautista, but they love Ernie Clement. And they love Nathan Lucas and Davis Schneider and John McDonald and Kelly Gruber and Ty Domi and Darcy Tucker, not just Matt Sundin and Austin Matthews. They love the glue guys, and it's definitely something that you can talk about Raptor fans loving those guys as well.
So who was your most, because you knew them all way better than a lot of us, who was like the one glue guy you're like, okay, I got to have this guy for sure, hands down?
Yeah. I mean, I think Jerome Williams is at the top of that list. JYD, everybody remembers the Junkyard Dog and for what he was for this fan base, let alone for the team and the energy that he brought off the bench. I can shout out a couple of guys as well. I think more current day, Norm Powell, a guy that started a bunch of games but came off the bench and really burst onto the scene even as a rookie in a playoff run that had the Raptors go all the way to the Eastern Conference Final that year. I think those are a couple of guys that stand out. But even going back in history a little bit, a guy that was kind of running alongside Damon Stoudemire back in the inaugural season, and Doug Christie, who's now the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. There's a lot of those dudes that I think came in. I mentioned Amir Johnson. I mentioned Matt Bonner. A guy like Jorge Garbajosa played only 1 year with the Raptors, but in that 1 year, I think really ingrained himself with the franchise, with the fan base, and with the history of this team for the way that he played. Or an Amir Johnson, who ended up planting roots in this city and lived here year-round, even in the offseason. There are so many guys that I think I would say stood out because of the way they embraced the city. And a lot of guys that maybe didn't anticipate embracing the city or the country to the extent that they did. That's sort of what comes out in this book as well, the passion that they had for the Raptors and for the fans and ultimately for the country of Canada.
Eric, I have a couple questions for you. When you interviewed some of these guys, I don't want you to give too much of the book away, but was there anything that was unexpected or surprising? And the other thing is, you talked about, one of the guys staying back and living in Toronto or in that area. Is there many guys that actually have stayed back and made Toronto their home?
Currently, guys that are in retirement, I'll answer the second part first. The only guy that I know of that still lives here is Matt Bonner. He actually, he's broadcasting now and working with Sportsnet. but he lives here year round, and he's got his kids up here and everything else. Alvin Williams spends a lot of time here as a Sportsnet broadcaster, but he lives full time in Philadelphia. So in terms of guys living here now in their post-playing days, no. But a lot of guys did stay here and lived year round when they were currently playing with the Raptors. As far as the first part of your question, Sean, I'll say the one that stood out more than any. A lot of these guys I knew quite well. Might not be like bosom buddies and breaking bread with these guys, but there was a professional working relationship with them. But I would say maybe about a third of the guys in the book, they knew me, I knew them, but did they really know me that well? Did they really remember me? And a guy like Chris Childs, when I reached out to him, I thought he was a great kind of glue guy to have because he was a veteran player that came over from the New York Knicks. The Knicks had beaten the Raptors the year before. Then Toronto goes and acquires Chris Childs. Then in acquiring Childs, he adds to a veteran locker room that already had an Antonio Davis and a Del Curry and a Charles Oakley and Muggsy Bogues and the list goes on. Lots of veteran voices. But Childs coming over from New York, helping the Raptors beat New York the next year, then going toe-to-toe with Allen Iverson in that second-round series back in the early 2000s as the Raptors were trying to make that first run to a conference finals that came up just a little bit short. That was why I wanted Chris Childs. What I didn't expect in the interview with Chris was how candid he was about his personal life and his battles with substance abuse and with addiction and how it almost ruined his life, literally, let alone his family, and nearly broke up his family, his wife and his children and everything else, and how a longtime coach in the NCAA and in the pros, a former Raptors assistant coach, a legendary coach in basketball circles, John Lucas, was responsible for getting Chris into a rehab program, which not only, again, got his life back on track, but got his career on track and opened the door for him to be able to go from the minor leagues ultimately to the pros and having an NBA career. And I did not anticipate Chris being, or a lot of other players being, as sort of forthcoming and candid as they were about their personal lives, again, beyond just the X's and O's or the lines on the floor or their time in Toronto. We really did get into a lot of deeply personal discussions with a lot of players that I think sort of gave a better lens of these guys as people, not just as athletes.
Eric Smith joins us, a longtime analyst for the Raptors, of course, being the voice of the Raptors now for over 2 decades. Has the book out, We the Raptors. It's 30 players, 30 stories celebrating the 30 years of the Raptors franchise. If you're a basketball fan, I highly recommend it. It's a great book. Like, honestly, as I was going through it, the one name, and when I open it up and, you have all the names, and I read through it, and right away I'm like, oh, I forgot about Tracy Murray. And it was because, it's funny. Like, I'm like, geez, he played there for a long time, but I needed to see that in the book to remember him. And that's why, stories like this are fun. I didn't do something like this, but for Joey Moss, when he passed away, I reached out to players and got 67 stories from guys for 67 years of Joey's life. And so, you hear some stories that guys I knew, but you never know. And you always you're learning new things. So hearing your story there about Chris, I think makes sense. Obviously, that's even more in depth. And the franchise, that championship, Eric, in 2019, and to kind of turn it to the team now today, who are playing great right now. And I think a lot of people, there was a few who thought the Raptors would be good. I don't know if they thought they'd be this good early on, but that 2019 championship, how much, and when you look at the whole history of the franchise, if you don't have that year, is everything different? Do you think, does that just say, okay, you know what happened like 30 years? We won once out of 30, which, and you think about it, there's 30 teams. Your odds are 1 out of 30, right? So they're right there, and they've had good years. They had bad years. I even remember, Lowry and his forward, joking about the Wiggins tank, which I didn't even remember. So clearly you've had good and bad, but like having lived it, how much did that even maybe help in this book because you had a championship to somehow base everything around or connect to?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. I mean, listen, I'll give you kind of a comparable example, if it's even a fair or accurate one. I am a hardcore, like it's the only team and the only sport that I can really still say I'm truly a fan of, because I work in baseball, I work in basketball for almost 30 years. I haven't had an opportunity yet to work directly and connected to a hockey team. But I mean, on Sundays and for 6 months of the year, leave me alone when the Buffalo Bills are on. Okay. And I can remember the heartache and the pain of making it to 4 straight Super Bowls and not winning any of them. And I still hang my hat on how unbelievably magical it is to even get to 4 straight. But if you win one, how different is it? How different is the narrative around the franchise? So for the Raptors or any team to have at least a championship. One of the crazy things about the NBA, and folks can Google this and check me on this, I believe it's now sitting at exactly half. It's either 15 or 16, I believe. NBA teams have won the title. So there's still half the league that has never won an NBA championship. So to say that you're in the portion in that group of teams that have, that automatically stamps you and gives you validation and credit that a lot of clubs can't say, a lot of fan bases can't say. So I think 2019 was huge. I think, unfortunately for the Raptors, they weren't able to ride that wave or that momentum because of the COVID pandemic hitting. If you remember back to 2020 and early March of 2020, the Raptors were among the top 3 teams in the league, even without Kawhi Leonard, and were knocking on the door of being the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. And many people believe they had a chance to have a real shot at least getting to a finals again, maybe putting a repeat on the line again without Kawhi, without Danny Green, who had also left. They were having a hell of a run, but COVID hits, world shuts down. They make it to Game 7 when the bubble restart finally happens. And then even though they did make the playoffs a couple of years later when they got Scotty Barnes after their year in Tampa, it's been a little bit of a dip trying to rebuild and retool and get things back on track. But you can never take away what that 2019 team ultimately was and how it will always be remembered. I hope I'm wrong. Or no, I don't want to say wrong. I'm not, because I don't want to sit here and say the team's never going to win. I hope that they just simply win again at some point. I hope I'm alive long enough for that to happen. But even if it doesn't, I mean, living in this city, all I hear about is 1967 with the Toronto Maple Leafs. We know we were here and we were alive to see 2019. Even if it doesn't happen again, I hope it happens multiple times, but we were around to see it. And I think that just stamps you and gives you that level of credit that a lot of teams can't say in pro sports, period, let alone in the NBA specifically.
Eric, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Quickly, do you have any update on RJ Barrett? We have to ask you about that.
Yeah, he's not playing tonight. He's dealing with a knee issue. I think they're calling it a sprain right now. That's the latest update I have. I don't know if it's more info coming in terms of a timeline or whatnot, but definitely not playing in tonight's game.
All right, and the book, this is great for Christmas for any of the basketball fans in your family, or even if you're not a Raptor fan, you just like sports stories. It's a fantastic read. We the Raptors, great stuff, Eric, and continued success.
Indigo, Amazon, you name it, you'll be able to find it. Thanks for the support, guys. Appreciate it.
Betcha. There is Eric Smith, longtime voice, now author for the Raptors. The book, We the Raptors, actually very good. I didn't read all 30 of the stories. I've read about 12 of them so far, and I liked all of them. I hadn't read the Child's one, but now I want to, for sure. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Gregor Brown, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1445 questions next.
Hold up. Are you pulling my beard? Booster Juice has 2 new booster balls for the holidays this year.
That's right, Santa. The Eggnog Booster Ball and Caramel Pecan Pie Booster Ball are 2 new flavors to put some extra jingle in your step. So are you a pie guy, Santa, or a nog guy?
Both!
Good call. That's extra jolly. Happy holidays from your friends at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
You know your neighbor, right? The one who watches your house when you're away, who keeps their yard looking nice, who says hello every day. That's us. GS Construction. Now, we probably don't live right beside you, but we do live in your community. And when it comes to water and wastewater infrastructure, moving along smoothly, we're the ones doing that work. GS Construction has been doing it since 1974, over 50 years. So you could say we are your neighbors who wear hard hats and work boots. To find out what your neighbors do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Are you looking for an affordable business, group, or team outing this season? Why not catch the excitement of a game with the 5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints? With extremely affordable group and suite packages available and some of the lowest food and drink prices around, Saints games are the perfect night for your next group event. Get your group in on the action. For more information, visit sgsaints.ca.
It's the Nissan Black Friday event, a full month of excitement packed with awesome vehicles and exclusive offers. Right now, finance the Nissan Kicks for 0% for 24 months. Plus, get $1,000 Nissan bonus and enjoy an epic ride wherever you go. This Black Friday, we've got great offers and limited inventory. Get yours today before they're all gone. These offers won't last. Go see your local Nissan dealer or Nissan.ca for more details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.354. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley rolling through on a lovely Monday afternoon. A light week in games for the Oilers. They have played the most games in the National Hockey League, so they probably need a little bit of downtime. They'll play tomorrow against the Dallas Stars. No Mikko Rantanen, as he is serving an automatic one-game suspension for earning 2 game misconducts in a 41 game span, which is kind of wild. Actually, probably thought he could have deserved more than a 1-game suspension on a hit on Coronado. I didn't love that one at all. The other one, hey, if you watch the replay, him and Mayfield do have their feet get tangled up. You're on one skate. That one I can kind of understand. The Coronado one, I'm sorry, I don't buy into it a second. Oh yeah, he stopped skating. So what? He's then still followed through and lifted his shoulder up. Like, trust me, he did not let up at all. So to me, there was no doubter about that one. Let's get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick, where Black Friday prices you can get at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Get an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1. Very small sample size. What did you like about Connor Clattenburg's game on Saturday and the overall game for the Oilers?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough. I think he touched on it, right? You know, you're playing your first NHL game against the defending champs, but, you know, it's I thought he handled himself well just for the limited minutes. Just the fact that, you know, when you're playing limited minutes, it makes it tough because it's hard to get into a routine. So I didn't expect a ton, but what he did was exactly what he needed to do to give himself another opportunity.
Yeah, you know what? He didn't I thought he was fine. He had a few shots. Actually, had one really good chance. The thing that probably stood out the most was when he had that 2-on-1 with Tomasek and just looked him off and just fired it. Hey, I don't mind the guy shooting, but Tomasek was wide open there. But nonetheless, you know what? He was engaged. I thought he didn't look out of place whatsoever. Obviously it's hard in limited minutes, but I thought in the limited time on the ice, he did fine for himself. Made his family super proud, and has probably earned another game tomorrow, and then he'll go back to the American League and continue to work on the other elements of his game, because I think the one thing is his will and desire to play physical, be aggressive is obviously there. Now it's just working on the other things. And, it gives them someone in the organization that they have nobody like. And that to me is what's a good thing for Gladden.
Question number 2, of course, the game tomorrow and then off for a while. So in that time off, what do you think Coach Knobloch and the staff are looking forward to working on with the group at practice?
Well, I think they want to fine tune some things. I still believe they don't love how much they're giving up in the low slot areas defensively. I think that's been an area where they just, and again, I asked Chris directly about it and we'll play his answer. They haven't changed their system. But they are starting to make some small. They haven't had a practice in 2 weeks. The whole road trip didn't have one practice, right? They just had morning skates, and Brownie knows those aren't a practice. So, I think kind of rehoning on some things. You're not going to change the world in a few practices. You just kind of have one focus, maybe 2.
Yeah. I think that, obviously there's no question they're working hard. It's probably just kind of working smart and just allowing everyone to kind of do their thing, right? Not try and overdo and do too much. I mean, at times you can see when they're back checking there, I think at times they're unaware of certain guys in certain areas of the ice, and it's a little puck watching. And I think they're just trying to do, maybe a little bit more than, they should, and trying to do other guys' jobs. It's just the product of just when a team is struggling, you're not feeling overconfident, you start doing too much, you're working hard, you're just not necessarily working smart. So probably some of those little details as you're coming back in your zone, kind of head on a swivel and just making sure you're trusting each other to do their job. You find your guy, and just having those guys covered would probably be something that I would probably look for them to make some of those adjustments with.
Question number 3. I think hockey fans would agree the takedown AJ Greer on Trent Frederick, a little greasy on Saturday. Was there a greasy move you guys had in your repertoires while playing?
Oh, Brownie probably had a few.
You know what? I don't know. I was thinking of that when I seen the question. I mean, I guess if you fell down on a guy, I'd always try to get my forearm into their neck, right? And try and crush their neck, or, get your forearm on their nose and try and crush their nose, especially when it's a dog pile, because it's hard to pick that up. You're not going to necessarily get a call, but yeah, it was kind of, I mean, I say that now and I'm in a different mindset. It doesn't sound all that good, but when you're kind of, in the moment in a game, I guess anything goes.
Yeah. I wasn't really a cheap shot artist, to be honest. Yeah, I was more of I could beak with anybody in the ice. That didn't bother me at all. Kind of like that. But
you like beaking?
Oh yeah, I thought I enjoyed it way more. Like I could get fired up. Like if someone used to beak off me, that would kind of get me into the game more.
Yeah,
right.
Really?
Like, because you know how it is. Whatever. And then all of a sudden, someone's spouting off. What? Yeah. And sure. Now, of course, somebody gives you a flying elbow, you get a little pissed off too. Yeah. But usually beaking. So sometimes I would just beak to get myself into the game, because usually someone else would start squawking back, and then I'd find I get in the game more.
I'm too black. I can't talk. Like I'm too black or white. Like
yeah,
it's either we're on or we're off.
Okay.
And once I get it in my head that we're on, that's all it consumes me.
Oh, okay.
Until
I
it's
just like beaking at guys about whatever. So it was awesome. Like we had, and I had a few guys on our team. Like we played a buddy, Dean Rack, might have been one of the funny. Like he had some unbelievable chirps from the bench. Like God, there were times where you just be like, even the opposing team, some of their teammates are laughing. Like you're just like, oh, they were unreal. So that's probably the thing. Like you have different personalities. Anybody out there listening, I don't care what sport you play, football, basketball, anything. You have different guys on your team who brought different things. Everybody remembers who the best players they played with, but there's just certain guys who had different characteristics and made it a lot of fun.
There was definitely some benches that you just wanted to stay away from. God, I remember getting beat up in the first period against Philadelphia, and I had to go back to that bench, and there was Dan Kordick, and oh God, Lacroix, there was Brant Myers, and I'm like, man, I got 2 periods of abuse that I gotta take from these guys, and they're no obviously slouches either, right? So, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of beaking back.
Oh yeah, guys, look at the scoreboard. That doesn't have the same great feel.
That's a minor hockey thing.
Yeah.
Question number 4 for you guys. Monday Night Football tonight. PlayAlberta.ca has the Niners as 7-point favorites. Where would you be going on that bet? And is there any other prop bet you might like?
Go ahead, Gregor.
Well, it's interesting, man. You look at this weekend in the NFL. Like there was some games you thought, like who would have thought the Cowboys would have come back in that game? Like I couldn't believe it. Carolina's fresh off of putting up some huge point totals, so you know some huge yards. So I'm wondering, like, can they build off of that? But my gut is, 7. So it's basically I got to go 7.5, right? Or I guess I got to win by 8. Yeah, 49ers at home. I'd probably still go with the 49ers, Cons. I'm going to the George Kittle. I go to the George Kittle TD today.
Oh, okay, I'm going to go with the Panthers, and I'll go with Christian McCaffrey to score a TD and get over 100 yards rushing, receiving.
Ooh, look at you.
Well, parlay action. Final question for you guys. On this day in 1966, the cult classic 1 Million Years BC, starring Raquel Welch, is released in Germany, West Germany to be specific. In honor of that, do you guys have a favorite cult classic movie?
Ooh, that's a good one. Probably Pulp Fiction. Does that fall under the? Or is that too popular to be cult?
IMDb has it listed as a cult classic.
Okay,
so
well then
give it to you.
All right, okay. Because if they would have said no to that one, I would have went Donnie Darko. That has to be a cult classic. No,
I don't even know what that one is, but I'll go Scarface.
Ooh, that was a good. You know what I learned on Friday? There was an original Scarface, 1926. The one with Al Pacino was actually like a remake.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't even know that. So, could have been. Low Tide is probably alive then. He would have known, but I didn't. I didn't know that. Another classic cult one is Clerks. Clerks is awesome. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, buddy, it's so good. Cons, what about you? What do you got?
Came out at probably the perfect age range for me. Napoleon Dynamite.
Buddy, one of the greatest. His dance scene, when you realize he did it in one take, that's so funny, man. Like that, there were so many funny scenes in that movie. It was unbelievable. Like his brother was such a don't be jealous that I'm talking to babes online. Like, oh my God, he was so funny. Like, so many lines in that movie. Uncle Rico, like how
Rico throws the steak and hits him in the face. Like, classic right there.
Oh God. Like Uncle Rico is just the classic because, most people have met someone in their life that loves to tell you how great they were at sports, even though they weren't that good at it. Right. Oh, that was Uncle Rico to a T. But that dance scene. And then my favorite part about that was when I got a meme made because I couldn't do it. When Struddy was doing Battle of the Blades and he made it to the final and we had like a watch party downtown and we had made vote for Strud's shirt, but it had Struddy superimposed his head. Oh my God. I think I still have it. That's one of the favorite things we've ever done. Oh, it was so awesome. Oh yeah. So Napoleon Dynamite, that's a great pick, man. I love that movie.
I'll have to.
You ever seen Napoleon Dynamite?
No, I knew that was going to come.
Oh my God.
I knew it.
You have kids.
What type of life have you lived?
I'm trying to watch Wedding Crashers.
Does Wendy know that you're this lame?
She doesn't watch movies either.
Yeah, but she's not a guy. Like she has an excuse. You don't.
I know. Well, I'm trying to watch Wedding Crashers with my daughter.
Oh, what do you mean you're trying?
That. Well, I'm just trying.
Well, trying to find time.
Well, I'm trying to get her to find time to watch it with me.
Get her to watch Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, there you go.
So
maybe I'll get that
funny. It is. It's kind of dry at times, right? It's a little bit slow at times, but there's so many funny lines in that movie. God, it's good.
Well, if Collins is seeing it, I feel like I have to see it.
Yeah. I own the DVD. I'll look for it. I'll bring it in for you.
When he crashes over the bike ramp, oh my God. We got a lot of votes coming in. Clockwork Orange. All right. Okay. Hey, guys, is Sandlot one? Oh, that is a great movie, by the way. I watched that with my son the other day. He's getting the age now where we kind of bring into some movies. I hadn't seen The Sandlot in such a long time. Oh, classic movie. So, like, especially when he goes to the pool, fakes that he's drowning. Veteran.
I got to get caught up on my movie. I got a lot of movies to watch. Apparently,
what did you do when you were playing?
I don't know.
Most guys, all I heard is they're sitting. They got all this downtime. They're watching movies.
Yeah, you know what? My son is why he watches a lot of movies too. And I'm just not that guy.
Because it's not like you were reading books.
Yeah. I don't know what I do with all that.
Exactly. You're just writing love letters to Wendy. Oh, what a romantic. Well,
we're snuggling.
And watching Brokeback Mountain, one of Brownie's favorites.
You gotta watch it. If you haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah, so good. Brownie, have a good one. Now, what do you think happens tomorrow? Oilers, Dallas? Do they got some momentum, or is this? Do you believe in the first home game after a long road trip is hard?
It is hard. It is.
What's hard about it?
Well, I mean, it's always tough when you've been gone that long, and a lot of these guys now have families and stuff. So, obviously they're missing their families and their kids, and getting back in that routine. And it doesn't just, it's probably just a mental thing, right? So I think if they can just kind of get through that first period, and then kind of build off of that second and third. So, but I think they've definitely done enough that they can, there's lots to build off of, and. At a young Clattenburg, like I said, maybe if he gets a second game when they have a lull, there's an opportunity for him to kind of get in there and inject a little bit of enthusiasm.
All right. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Ooh, the weather's getting chilly. Don't wait until you're slip sliding through those intersections. Get your winter tires now. You can save 15% off fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
7 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. You have the Sens in LA taking on the Kings, Mammoth hosting the Golden Knights, Panthers in Nashville, Blues taking on the Rangers, Devils host the Wings, and the Flyers up against the Lightning. In the NFL, Week 12 wrapping up, Niners and Panthers from Santa Clara. That gets going at 6:15. In the association, the Raptors up against the Cavs. Tip-off clock. Toronto will be without R.J. Barrett in this one. You've also got the Pistons in Indiana. Heat host the Mavericks, Nuggets taking on the Grizz, Bulls and Pelicans, Warriors host the Jazz, and the Timberwolves taking on the Kings. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Also, we'll be joined by Dennis Bernstein of the fourth period and take a look at the Oilers matchup with the Stars tomorrow night. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Snow, colder weather, shorter days. November is officially here. But it doesn't all have to be bad news. If you're thinking about a newer used vehicle, now is the time. Massive savings, 0% financing, and don't forget tires at cost. Yes, that's right. We sell winter tires at cost. There's lots to celebrate in November. And
welcome back.
We'd like to thank all of those
Jason
who have
Gregor
fought
Show.
and served for our country. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, it's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza from Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Planning your next event?
Mr. Gregor Sean Brown,
Quality Market Cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
It's week 3 of Canadian Tire's early Black Friday sale. These prices won't go lower this year. Maybe too low. Freezing.
Save up to 50% November 20th to 27th. Conditions apply. Details online.
You're listening to The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 4 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back to the Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, you have the new Jason Gregor Show daily special where you can get in on. You get some odds boosts, a little bit better for you if you think it's worthy. Check it out. PlayAlberta.ca. Go to sports and then click on the Gregor Show on the left-hand side. And tonight has the Panthers and Preds over 5.5. And parlayed with a Detroit Red Wings victory. So get some pretty good odds at that. Check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. The Edmonton Oilers practicing today for the first time in 2 weeks. They will take on the Dallas Stars tomorrow. No Mikko Rantanen. No Duchesne. Doesn't look like Thomas Harley be in the lineup. No Kasperi Kapanen. No Jake Wallman. Phil Lazar still all out. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a maybe for tomorrow. My gut instinct says probably not. You know what? Coming off concussion, you got, basically, if you don't play him tomorrow, that gives you an extra 96 hours till you play against Seattle. So why wouldn't you do it? I guess that would be my thought process in that. So, but we'll see what comes of it. He was flying out there today, skating really well. So maybe he's ready. It all comes down to, did he get the clearance 100%? From the doctors to return to play. It's really only his first practice. That might play into it too, right? I know he was skating on his own when the team was on the road, but he only had the one skate with the team. So sometimes they like to have a few more. So my gut tells me no, but the door hasn't been slammed shut completely yet on him playing tomorrow or not. Let's continue on with the Oilers, because I want to listen to Kasperi Kapanen. Now, Kasperi Kapanen jokingly told me, hey, man, if it was up to me, I'd be playing tomorrow, but he understands. He hasn't. That was his first practice really with the team in almost a month, and a few more practices. He feels he'll be ready to go. I also learned him and his wife are expecting their first child in February, because I asked him, I said, man, have you been able to do something when you have this much more time off? And he says, you know what? No, we're just kind of nesting, getting ready, because his wife is due in February. So for the Olympic break, he'll be celebrating, hopefully being a new father. And for both him and his wife, none of their siblings have kids, so they'll be the first grandchild on both sides of the family. So pretty big moment for the grandparents. They'll be pretty fired up, he said. So that's good news for Kasperi Kapanen and his family coming up in February. But here's a conversation I had with Kapanen just on a lot of things for him, and kind of what he's learned about himself as a player and what he looks to bring when he returns to the line. Well, Kasperi, last year when you came in the playoffs, at it a lot. And, even this year, up until that injury, it seemed like you'd kind of found that consistency in how you wanted and kind of maybe what your role was here. How frustrating was it to get injured when you did, and how do you feel now?
Yeah, like you said, you said that I kind of find my role, and I think I found it playoffs last year, and then coming into this year, I think, those first 5-6 games that I played, I felt like I was playing pretty well, and playing with confidence is obviously a big thing. So getting hurt early in the season you never want to get hurt, especially early in the season. But yeah, I'm feeling good now, and hopefully I'll just come back better.
You've been in the league. You've done a lot of different things. You've shown the ability to score. Obviously, we saw in the playoffs, you can be physical if need be. Kind of, how do you describe, what do you feel your role is on this team moving forward?
I think just I try to be a complete player, a player that can provide offense when needed to, and obviously on the physical side, be physical and then just kind of be in your face type of player. Just a player that's not fun to play against, and then defensively just try to take care of our zone and then block pucks and just kind of be tough to play in the defensive zone as well. So I'd say just all around player and maybe somewhat of a energy player.
I'm assuming it's harder to watch when the team's struggling, just because you feel like I want to get out there. But from your vantage point, when you watch it, and a lot of the players have talked about, hey, we haven't been as consistent as we would have liked. How do you get back to being consistent as a group?
I think it just starts with the simple things and doing the simple things right, which is it's always a cliche. You hear guys saying that, but it's true when we're talking about our group. I think it's just having clean exits out of our zone, making the simple play, not always turning the puck over in the neutral zone, and then playing simple. And with that, you get confidence. And then we got a lot of guys that have the ability to make those small little plays that turn into great scoring chances. So we're able to score. I think as a unit, we need to defend a bit better as well, but it's easy for me to say watching on TV, but I think the team's trending in the right direction right now, which is a positive.
Experiencing coming back after losing the cup, how do you get over that?
With time. I'd be lying if it still doesn't hurt. Obviously, I've never gone that far in playoffs and never been a part of a group quite special as it was last year and this year as well. It hurt. It was one of the most painful things that I've ever encountered in my career and in my life in general. So, but there's a lot to learn from that. I think from losing like that, you learn, and I'm hoping that, like I said, this team is trending in the right direction. So we learn from our mistakes right now, and hopefully once we get into the playoffs, we learn from our mistakes last year, and then we just hopefully able to win this year.
What did you learn about yourself in that cup run when you came in? Maybe is there something new that you learned about yourself as a player that can help you moving forward?
I learned that I'm a hell of a good player when I'm playing with confidence and I'm playing with purpose, and coming into that, I think it was game 4 against Vegas, and just having that energy and just having that playing with passion. And that's something that, you try to bring for 82 games in a year. It's a lot. Obviously not every game you're not going to get up for it, but for the big games, especially playoffs, you need to bring that emotion and just try to be an impact on the game. And I learned that I can be a hell of a player when I'm playing like that. And like I said, just try to do that for most of the year.
So, and I agree, you can't do it 82 games in a year, and the games aren't as emotional, everything like that. But knowing that you kind of maybe went through a new level for yourself, that now your lower level's even higher in the regular season?
Oh, for sure. So you kind of just raise your level as a whole. So even your lower level is still a good level. But I think being consistent is also one thing that I'm trying to be better at. And I started those first 6 games this year. I felt like all of those games I was playing pretty well and skating well and just being physical. So I'm excited to hopefully get back here soon and then just bring that energy back.
When you come off of an injury, what's the number one most important thing for you to get back up to speed after being out for a month?
Just keep it simple. I think keep it simple and get the legs moving. I don't think the first however many games are going to feel great, obviously, because you haven't been playing for 6 weeks. It's just to stay patient, but get the legs moving and then just be physical and kind of just try to ease your way into the kind of game that I want to play. And but obviously bring energy. I haven't been playing for a while, so I should have plenty of that.
So Kasperi Kapanen really excited to get back, most likely on Saturday against Seattle, and look for him to come back in 5-on-5 and on the penalty kill as well. So, they'll start to use some more guys. Kapanen speed, you saw his physicality. I loved his honesty just about, becoming more consistent and what I'm capable of as a player. And now, when you raise the bar at the top, that means your floor should automatically be higher when you find your consistency. Because I think if you look at Kasperi Kapanen, no, he's got NHL skills all through and through. It's just a matter of the consistency. And you can't bring it all 82 games to a high level, but then your bottom level has to be acceptable enough, right? On the nights where you don't have it, you find a way to contribute something, right? And I think that's probably been his issue. But man, in the playoffs when he came back in, well, everybody like that. Those few shifts he had were unreal. Scored a few goals down the stretch for the Oilers. I thought he started this year really well till he got injured. And his size and speed, his shot, that guy's got the skill. If you give him a chance, he can score. He's learned to be more physical. He kills penalties. He could be a valuable kind of middle six player for your team potentially, and can play both wings. So I think he's kind of underrated as a guy. You get Hyman back, you get Kapanen back, you get Nugent Hopkins back. That helps your team a lot. Let's get to Cam Tate now. The 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. And Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam, of course, born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. He's never let it slow him down. And he's always wanted to be on radio. And now the 2-minute warning comes to life via technology here with Cam Tate.
Around here in Edmonton, we tell stories the way we handle winter, with a grin, a shrug, and a whole lot of pride. And one of my favorites, a tale whispered over green onion cakes or a coffee from the old Garneau Tim Hortons, is the legend of the bar napkin. That sacred Edmonton document. The place where great ideas are sketched between scotch stains and last call at some downtown spot that's probably been torn down and rebuilt twice. And every so often, those ideas come true. Like that day on the Oilers charter, 45,000 feet over. Take your pick. Vegreville, Provost, maybe Wainwright. Oilers president Patrick LaForge leaning toward Alan Watt. Two Edmonton guys thinking big Edmonton thoughts. And on a napkin that might have come from a box bought at London Drugs on 82nd Avenue, they started drawing lines, rinks, possibilities. The first heartbeat of an idea the hockey world didn't know it needed. The first ever NHL outdoor game for real, hard-earned points. The Heritage Classic, an Edmonton idea. Cold, bold, and stubborn. It unfolded at Commonwealth Stadium in a hoarfrost so thick it looked like a movie effect. 21 years ago, yesterday. Connor Halley was there, bundled like he was camping in Elk Island in January. And he'll admit it nearly got canceled for cold. He didn't see the end. Hypothermia doesn't check the game clock. Everyone here has a story about that day. Ask around at the Pint, the old downtown Y, or the Italian center line. Me? The press box was jammed tighter than West Ed on Boxing Day, so I ended up in a gym with a few hundred scribes, warm and lucky. Oilers, Canadians, legends everywhere. And that game lit Edmonton's beacon, the one built by Gretzky and the gang, even brighter. Outdoor games sprouted everywhere after. But the first? It started on a bar napkin. Edmonton style. 2-minute warning. Gregor, Halley, Kruger, me, Tater. Sports, 1440.
The deepest voice Tater's ever had comes across. You really got to listen, pay attention. I like it. It was true. And it's interesting how you rarely hear the NHL kind of applaud the fact that it was Edmonton who came up with, which is now one of their biggest annual games of the year. And remember, they didn't want, like the Oilers really had to fight them to get that game. And 22 years later, now how many outdoor games have there been? Like, oh my goodness. Well, Chicago itself has been in probably close to 8 or 9. And, it's huge. It's become a massive event for the NHL, which is great. But they never really seem to ever honor where it came from. I just kind of find it's not lost on me that Bettman and them who totally didn't want to do it will ever even give credence to and respect to say, hey, you know what? Kudos to them. Like when I would think any of the big anniversaries, and I know that they just had one in Edmonton, which was good, which is nice. And it should be one that there should just be a memorable part about it. At least a mention every now and then. That's all I'm saying. So it's good. Like, the second one was successful. The first, it's always hard to match the first because it was the first of its kind. And, you had the Habs come in, you had all the greats around, right? That was all special. The fact that it was -20 was good and bad at the same time. It was bad for the ice conditions. It was good for the history and the folklore, people that are able to gut it out and stayed in the entire time. You know what? I'm sure there was, I don't even know how many they officially fit in the stadium that day. Was it 60,000? I'm sure there's probably 120,000 people who claim they were there that day. So, you know what? It makes for great history. And, wearing the toque over his mask was at Jose Theodore. So, there's lots going on in that game. So it's pretty fun. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. And speaking of lots going on, it has been a wild stretch to start this season in the National Hockey League for lots of different teams, for lots of different reasons. And the one kind of consistent we've seen more this year than ever is just the amount of games that have gone to overtime. Whether you're playing in the games, whether you're winning the games, like Vegas has lost 7 games in overtime / shootout. 7. And you know what? They won another game. So they've been 8 times. The Warriors have been to overtime 10 times this year. They've already got 5 OT / shootout losses. That's the same amount they had all of last year. Like there's 3 teams. The Kings also have been there 10 times this season to overtime. They're 4-6 in OT. The Oilers are 5-5 in OT / shootouts. And is it Anaheim? Maybe it's Seattle. I think Seattle might be the other team. Yeah, Seattle has been there. And they're 4-6 as well in overtime / shootouts. They got 3 teams that have already played 10 games in OT. It's wild. So we'll touch on that. The LA Kings, Corey Perry came out of the gate like a house on fire. Now only has 1 point in his last 6 games, but his numbers are still good. You take Corey Perry's number, 7 goals in 16 games. It's unreal, right? He came out on fire. Where are the Kings at? They got Kempe signed. What's the update on Doughty? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Diamond Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Hey, winter is really freaking cold, right? So play it smart. Don't get caught freezing in your car with your pants down and no power. At Big Toy Shop right now, lead-acid batteries are just $129. $129 is a great price for a good start. Big Toy Shop. Power up and save some bucks at Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
Born from work, built for play. Carhartt's all-new Super Ducks tech jackets are built for hard-working people who can't sacrifice mobility for durability. This ultra-tough gear fights off wind, snow, and cold, while full-swing technology flexes with every move and still packs 3M insulation for maximum warmth. Try your new Carhartt Super Ducks at JobSite Workwear. 3 locations in Edmonton and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
ShopSite Workwear, some different jobs.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.430. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Halley, Declan Kruger, running things online. YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Of course, the Gregor Show always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, get in the game when you're there. Casino, live dealer, lottery, instance. Of course, all the sport games that you like, NFL, NBA, NHL, and more at PlayAlberta.ca. And tomorrow night, Lotto Max, $55 million plus for 1 million max millions. So good luck. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. Time to go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, 53 years running. Now, they've installed over 300 residential solar installations throughout Alberta. Right now, you can get paybacks between 6 to 8 years or better. You get a 10-year interest-free loan available from the Government of Canada. So check it out, actionelectrical.net. And we're joined by a longtime NHL reporter from the fourth period. Of course, covers hockey out in California very well. Dennis Bernstein joins us once again. DB, how you doing, my man?
Great, JG. Always great to be with you. Let's talk some puck.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let's start with the big news. I thought it was a really good chance would happen, but until it happens, it's never for sure. But I'm sure it's a big relief for all Kings fans that they have locked up Adrian Kempe for 8 years. I think a pretty good value contract, really, at 10.65.
JG, what took him so long? It's under market, right? Yeah, Nesgas, Kyle Connor, and he came in at 10.65. Something that had to be done. If you don't sign that guy, just rebuild, right? He's your best player. He wanted to stay here. He wanted to sign for 8 years. I think the challenge was for Kenny Holland was he'll be 30 next year. So you're paying him from age 30 to 38, not 28 to 36 or whatever. So I think that was part of the challenge of bridging the gap with JP Barry, his agent, but it was something that had to be done. And you're right, big sigh of relief. Now Adrian's got to score some more goals because the team isn't scoring any goals. But yeah, big sigh of relief, something that had to be done, and they can go on to more business and trying to win games.
You look at what's the update on Doughty?
Probably 3 to 4 weeks. It's a broken toe, but it's not his big toe. So he's I saw him after the last game. He's in a walking boot. My guess would be probably then around Christmas time is what you get. And does that impact his chances to make the Olympic team? It probably does, although he's had a pretty decent season. So it's not a long-term injury. They held their breath. It was, Jason, like a lot of these injuries are innocent plays. It was he took a shot off the foot in Ottawa. He was limping around, and they did some X-rays, so that's where he stands. So not a major injury, but something where guys like Brand Clark, Joel Edmondson, they're going to have to kind of step up in his absence.
I know it's early, and I know it's his farewell tour, but Kopitar has been Mr. Consistent for a long time. This is his last year. He's announced it. 4 goals in 18 games, only 12 points. How's Kopitar played?
He's played okay. Jason, look at all the centers. I think they've scored I think Macklin Celebrini has more goals than the entire Kings center depth. So that's Kopitar, that's Byfield, that's Deneau, who hasn't scored yet this year, and Turcotte, but now they're putting Sam Helanis in tonight. So I think it's just a function of the team not being able to score goals. He's been okay, but Jason, at some point, you can't be the number one center anymore. In your 20th season, Quentin Byfield's got to be the number one. So if he gets 65 points, I think it's fine. Now, that means Quentin's got to get 70 to 75. Quentin's scoring a lot of goals, but I think Quentin has 4 goals. So there's something going on systemically about the Kings. Maybe it's something in the water here in Los Angeles, but the centers aren't scoring any goals. I think that's the key. So my expectations for Kopi wasn't a point-a-game player like you're expecting here. It's more like 60 points, so I think he's on track for that. But Kopitar's always been a pass-first guy. So he's never going to be – one year I think he had over 30 goals. He's not that type of guy. If he gets to 20 this year, that'll be fine. So I'm not shocked, but he's still going to play 19 minutes a night, doesn't take penalties. The penalty kills have been exceptional, Jason. So I think that's the strongest part of Kopi's game right now is the defensive side of the puck.
Yeah, well, and he's always taken a lot of pride in that. Is Byfield ready to be the number one center?
Yeah, he is. He's got to shoot more. He's still a little deferential. Last year he was deferential to Kopitar. Now he's deferential to his teammates because now he's playing with Kempe and Fiala. He's got to shoot the puck more. Right. And if you look at the edge stats the NHL puts out, he's like in the 99th percentile for speed. He's one of the fastest players in the league. So it's just, I think he's got to learn the soft spots in the offensive zone that get you goals. Like maybe Luke Robitaille needs to get him on the ice because Luke scored over 600 goals and show him where on the ice you shoot the puck. Because I think that's his challenge right now is raising his IQ offensively to be in positions where you can score goals. He's getting a lot of high danger chances. He's not finishing. Nobody on the team is really finishing the high danger chances right now. So, yeah, he needs to be the number one center right now. Not game 60, game 8. He needs to overtake Kopitar and be the one. He has all the tools, Jason. Offensively, it's just not showing right now.
You mentioned Phil Deneau. No goals in 22 games. Like, he's never been a huge offensive guy, but come on. Like, that's obviously, what's gone wrong? What's gone missing in his offensive game?
I told the people here in LA that when he got 27 in his first year, go to the bank with that. You're never going to get that again. But he should get 12 to 15 goals. Jason, he's lost a step, maybe a step and a half. I think that's it. It's simple as that. Now, he was good. The last 20 games of last season, he was good. And against the Oilers in the playoffs, he's really good. You're right. He's not a great offensive player, but he's got to chip in a little bit. I think he's a little bit, disgruntled. They were playing with Kuzmenko a little bit, and that's not the type of player with Phil Deneau. Right. So I think that's the challenge. That's the issue. I just think it's a matter of age. And he's lost a step. So I think that's hurt him offensively, not so much defensively.
Yeah, the Kings' defensive numbers are obviously off the charts. Tremendous. Their penalty kill is very good. Darcy Kemper was excellent for them last year as well. Corey Perry came in like a house on fire. Unfortunately, got injured in camp, in like a captain skate, and then he missed the first part of the season. He scored 7 goals in his first 10 games, and people are like, what the hell is going on? Now, he only has 1 assist in his last 6 games, but, still, he's got 7 goals in 16 games, which the Kings would take all day, all season long. Was the first 10 games just adrenaline? What's been the difference from Perry's first 10 to his last 6?
Jason, the same player that was in Montreal and Edmonton and Anaheim, he goes to the net. He's a straight line player. He gets in front. It's as simple as that. And the puck was fun in the back of the net. Now it doesn't. Now he's not but look, he played with Connor and Leon. Like he's a really smart player, Jason. Yeah. He's a role model. Like the rest of the forwards to look at Corey, and granted, Kevin Fiala is never going to be Corey Perry with respect to the type of game he plays. He goes to the net. He stands in front. He goes to the dangerous places where you can score goals. As simple as that. Sometimes it falls. Sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah, my expectations with this guy would be about 15 goals. He's on the first unit power play, right? And he'll play 15 minutes a night. He'll chip in. He'll go up and down the line. Won't complain. He's been I joke, Jason, you mentioned the goal scoring. For 10 games, he was our MVP. He was the best player. Yeah. He shouldn't be, right? He shouldn't be. But I thought it was a great ad. A faction of Kings fans, and a lot of them said, I'll never root for Corey Perry ever. I'm like, so if he scores an overtime game-winning goal against the Oilers in the playoffs, you'll cheer for the Oilers? Is that what you're going to do? Like, he's been a great addition for this team. You've interviewed him. He's a good guy in the room. It's a really nice ad for Kenny Holland here. He's really helped the team.
Looking at the Kings, though, they're 5th in goals against. The defense is still their strength. They're 27th, though, in offense. It's exactly the same number, 2.68 goals for per game, 2.68 goals against. They're like the Oilers. They've each played 10 games in overtime. It's wild this season. The Oilers have given up a lot of leads. Unfortunately, the Kings just haven't been able to score goals enough. When you look at it, how much of that is lack of talent? Is that just like the Kings' identity? They're still defense first and always will be, or what?
When your DNA is check for your chances, Jason, you're never going to lead the league in scoring. Never. It's not going to happen. Now, I'll say this. They're a winger short. Like Kuzmenko is not the same player he was at the end of last season and in the playoffs. He's not. And he's never been a goal scorer. So they need a goal scorer, right? And their power play is just abysmal right now. As great as I think the penalty kill hasn't given up a goal in like 10 or 11 games, right? but the power play, they had a 5-on-3 the other night against Boston. They didn't get a shot on goal. Like and here's the challenge. Adrian Kempe, who's probably the best shooter on the team, is playing the point on the 5-forward power play. Why? Like you're the furthest from the net. And not only that, Jason, they're getting scouted. So the forwards on the penalty kill of the opposition, they're being aggressive. And he's starting to turn the puck over at the blue line, and they're getting odd man chances against them. You got to get Adrian Kempe closer to the net, right?
Yeah.
He has, if you look at his shot totals, the most of his shots are from distance, from furthest out, low danger chances. That player, they have to change it. They're still, I think tonight, they're still going to go 5 forwards on the power play. That's what's really killed this team. They might be in first place in the division if they had a decent power play. It's just abysmal right now. I think part of it is I'd put Brant Clark on the first unit. Let him be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. Let him be the quarterback. Get Kempe closer. Maybe take Kopitar off and put him on the second unit or Kuzmenko. So I think that's it. But yes, Jason, this is not a highly skilled team. You have 2 goal scorers, Fiala and Kempe. That's it. Right? Everybody else is good. So if Kenny Holland's going to make a move at the deadline, it's got to be for a score unless Kuzmenko finds some traction here, and he hasn't through 22 games.
Yeah, their power play is 14.3%, which is not ideal. You mentioned their penalty kills. Great. I can't, like, having your best shooter farthest from the net makes absolutely no sense. That is mind-blowing.
I don't get
it. To figure it out. Do they got anybody in their system you think is ready?
No. They don't have these. Jason, next year they're going to need to do a 2C. Kopitar's retiring. Like they don't have an incumbent in 2C. So I don't see anybody. They have solid players that are 200-foot players, like Alex Laferriere. Like that's the type of player they have in the system. Right? They don't have the next big-time scorer. They don't have an 80-point scorer on this team. So it's going to be a challenge. And that's look, here's the thing. If you went down the list of, and I'll go back to Rob Blake, of all his second-round picks for the last 8 years when he was there, I don't think any of them came to fruition. Any of them. And he didn't trade the picks for players. So, and that's the challenge right now, Jason, because what's going to happen in this league, right? Everybody thought, free agency is going to be a big bonanza. Oh wait, everybody kept everybody. There's nobody on the market. You're going to have to either draft and develop or trade. So I think the way Kenny's got to embellish this offense would be through trade. Nobody's making trades right now because there's so much parity in this league. So they're going to be challenged. So there's not the next wave of players that are going to take place of Kopitar and Doughty. It's going to be a while. So there's going to be a challenge next season because the Sharks are coming, the Ducks are coming right now. It's going to be tough for the Kings here in the next couple of years.
Dennis Bernstein joins us from the fourth period talking LA Kings. Warren Fogle had an unreal year last year for the Kings. 24 goals, 20 of them at 5-on-5. He's only got 3 points this year in 17 games, all goals, 2 goals, 5-on-5. What's gone wrong with Fogle?
He was a slow start. Then he got hit by Foligno in Chicago and banged up his shoulder. So he was out for 3 or 4 games. But I love this. He's the best guy. Like he's a valuable player. Even though he hasn't scored a lot, Jason, he's a very valuable player. He made the Danault, Moore, and line with him a really good third line last year. So I just have patience with folks. He's going to he was second in the team on even strength goals last year to Kempe. So I think it's a factor of they haven't found traction. Danault's not really playing well. So I think it's a function of his line mates on the injury. But I think once he finds his stride, maybe in the next 5 to 10 games, he'll start hitting the back of the net more because they need him to score because of what we talked about, the lack of offense from the top 6.
Well, and that's my last one for you. To Brant Clark, like he's their best young offensive defenseman. There's no debate on that, right? Like they don't got anybody. Like they got Drew Doughty, but he's an older Drew Doughty's not really an offensive guy much anymore. Why are they scared to play him on the power play?
Because Jim Hill still believes that the 5-unit forwards can be productive. I don't know how much longer you can run with this. I ask him after every game. Because after every game, it's not productive. I think you have 1 power play goal in the last 6 or 7 games. It's time, Jason. The challenge with Brant Clark, he doesn't have a big shot from the point. He's not Evan Bouchard. Like he's not even Drew Doughty. He doesn't have a big shot. So I think they want, and Kempe does have a big shot. So that's who you're putting at the point right now. It's got to change though. And I think it's going to change here over the next probably week to 10 days. If they keep going through this, Jason, where they don't get production on the power play, he's going to have to play. Now, he's not going to get a lot of time because he doesn't play on the penalty kill. You're not going to change the penalty kill because it's going so well. So he's never going to play 22 or 23 minutes like a Makar or Werenski or even Bouchard. So I think that's a challenge with him. But it's time they should try it. For all the experimenting that Jim Hiller does with this team, he hasn't experimented with the first unit power play. It's coming to that time.
Well, and the thing is, like, I get the theory of having 5 forwards there, but you need a forward who's very comfortable walking the blue line, really being the guy at the top. And Kempe has always been more of a shooter than a passer. He just doesn't seem to be the right. Like, it makes no sense to me. Stunned. Like I could see Kuzmenko maybe, but even then,
But he can't defend, Jason.
I know he can't defend.
It's a turnover. It's a shorthanded goal against. That's the challenge. So yeah, I think that it worked really good when Kuzmenko came in last year. It worked really well, and it worked well in the playoffs for 4 games because the last 2 games, right? But it's not working, Jason. And I don't know. Madness is trying to go back to the same, going back to the same thing over and over again, getting the same result. They're getting results. So at some point in time, you got to change it, and they're losing games because of it. If they had an average power play, they'd probably have 2 or 3 more wins. They wouldn't have the overtime losses that you talked about, and they'd be in a better spot right now.
BB, always good to catch up with you, buddy. We will chat with you again soon. Have a great day.
Always great being on Sports 1440, JG. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
That is Dennis Bernstein from the Fourth Period, longtime reporter covering the Kings and hockey in California, and really the entire NHL. Knows the stuff very well. But that is like a penalty kill of 14%. Like, are you kidding me? And that, want to know what's scary? The Colorado Avalanche, the best team in hockey, their power play is only 15.7%. And look at who they've got on their power play. McKinnon, Makar, Natchez. They got some skill players. If their power play ever wakes up, like, oh my God, could they make a life even harder for opposing players? But that's mind-blowing when you think about it. The Avs are just, they don't score any goals in the power play. They don't. Now, you could say they don't need to, which is totally true. They haven't needed to, but it would be nice. It is surprising though with their skill that they're 15% on the man advantage. It's a wild number, and they get a fair amount of opportunities too, right? They have the most opportunities in the league, and their power play is that bad. Like, they've had 83 power play chances so far this season. The Oilers have had 59. And Edmonton's played 24 games, and Colorado's played. So Colorado's played 2 fewer games. They're getting 3.77 power plays per game. The Oilers are getting 2.46. Like, imagine what Colorado, if they could ever wake up on their power play. Oh my God, it'd be lights out Irene, because they play fast and they draw penalties. And to me, we should have a whole conversation about why the Oilers can't draw penalties. Because you watch the games, we haven't even had people texting in and say, oh my God, the refs are missing calls. The refs are missing calls. No, they're just not drawing penalties at all. It's crazy. Quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off. And with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and if you're serious about selling your used RV, then I'm serious about getting you the money you want. You're not the only one who wants to spend the winter in selling mode rather than storage mode, and we're happy to help.
People come to No Bull RV 12 months of the year, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. A used RV is one of a kind, which means when the one you're looking for comes along, customers quickly pounce on it. So if you've outgrown your RV or you're looking to upsize, downsize, or just turn it into cash, come see us at No Bull RV.
You have to be serious about selling, though, right, Rick?
Better believe it, Bob. This is for people who truly want their RV gone. If we're going to store your RV for free all winter, it has to be priced to sell. And that's why customers come to No Bull 12 months of the year. Because you never know when the perfect used RV is going to arrive. And if it's here, it won't last long.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.454, welcome back, Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Sports 1440.ca. Coming up, Nick Kipros, Brian Diardo, also Chris Knobloch will be by because Knobloch, I had a good chat with him. Let's get to one of his right now cons from Chris Knobloch in the O Report, brought to you by Go Auto. Because there's been a lot of talk about it. So I want to ask, because I watch the games, I think, as close as anybody else does. And I kept hearing everybody saying, oh, the Oilers have changed their system, I'm like, I don't see the system change. I don't see what they've changed. I see a lot of mistakes. I see guys out of position, but that's not a systemic change. They didn't change their forecheck. They didn't change how they want to break out. What happened was they gave up too many chances in the low slot in the defensive zone. And I thought, the exact same system. So I asked today, because the Oilers have been out of town for 2 weeks, asked Chris Knobloch, have you made any significant changes to your system 5-on-5?
We have been playing the exact same systems as we did the previous 2 years. And we've talked about things, they'll work out, things will turn around. It's got to the point where, things haven't turned around now that we're 20 plus games in the season. Now we're starting to alter some things. And today we adjusted one thing, but it's hard just because we've had so much success. We've gone to Stanley Cup final twice. We didn't want to change anything. But now that we're playing like we have for as long as we have, we have to start thinking, things aren't just going to work themselves out. We need to make some adjustments, whether that's moving guys around, our system, obviously. So now we're starting to look at making some adjustments.
So there you go. We will, the adjustments, as I was watching from practice today, I think that I saw was, one was in the when the opposition is breaking out, they felt like they've been giving up the middle of the ice too easy. And if you can attack from the middle of the ice, you just have way more options. Right? And anybody out there, and I know lots of coaches have used this analogy. So consider where the dots are, right? So the dots in the neutral zone, the face-off dots, right? They're all in the straight line, right? From the face-off dot in the offensive zone, then there's ones at the neutral zone, and then there's one in your defense zone. They're all in the straight line. So a lot of people will call from the dots out on each side to the boards, that's the ditch. And then in the middle of the ice between the two dots, that's the highway. When you're on offense, you want to be on the highway. You're wheeling down. If you're the defensive team, you want to get them and you want to angle them, veer them to the ditch. It's the easiest way to describe it. And I think the Oilers haven't liked the fact that they've been giving up a little too much in the highway. So I saw for sure a few times where Knoblauch at practice today blew his whistle, stopped when they were doing a drill, and said, hey, here, this is where we want. And talked specifically about when the team was breaking out and how the one line was breaking out and the other line was defending it through the neutral zone, blew the whistle a few times, pointed out how here's the areas of concern. And both times it was in the middle. So that's the one thing if you're watching for closely tomorrow, it's that. But I think too often what happens, and I know I've got all these emails, oh yeah, this Jack Hahn guy. Yeah. So here's the thing. Because a guy takes one or two stream shots of a video and says, oh, this is what they're doing, that doesn't mean they're doing it all the time. Like a lot of people have talked about, oh, the Oilers in this stretch pass out to center. Well, I counted. If you do that 3 times in a game, that's not a system. That's a one option play at a certain time of the game. Now, do I like it? No. But you do it sometimes when you're changing, right? It's just, hey, this is the way to get off the ice. Just here we go. We dump the puck in. Now we can change. Or this 200 feet from our net and we regroup. Okay, fine. But it's not like they're doing it all the time. And so they were showing videos of, oh, look, the Oilers, there's 2 spread out. That's clearly their system. What? You actually believe an NHL coach is instructing his team to spread out in the defensive zone and not support the puck? At what level? What are we talking about? And so just because the guy says, oh, I worked for an AHL team for one time. Yeah, great. You worked there for a year. Why aren't you working there anymore? Maybe because you make claims that this is a systemic thing. There's no system in the world where you're taught your guy, hey, guys, everybody's spread out in their own zone. We don't support the puck. Like what? Come on. In U13, they're not teaching that. You teach your guys support the puck because the longer the pass you have to make in your D zone, the spread out you are, you can't support the puck. You're going to have turnovers. And a lot of times the players just weren't making good decisions, right? It's okay to, people have been scared to want to admit the Oilers just haven't played very well. I think they have more talent and more skill and more smarts than they've shown on a continual basis through the first 24 games. And it happens. You get into a funk. Now, key is if you have a choice, you can either get out of the funk or you stay in the funk, and then it's 40 games and 50 games, and then you're like, oh my God, we might miss the playoffs. So the Oilers, they need to get out of the funk. And I thought Tampa and Florida was the first time this year that in consecutive games, the Oilers have had solid goaltending and pretty solid defensive play. They didn't give up a ton in either game. And when they did, their goalies made some solid stops. Right? The goalies weren't perfect. They don't need to be perfect. But they were solid. For both of those games, you look and say, hey, our goalies, one chance, we won the game. The other one, hey, only allowed 2 goals, gave us a chance to win. One of them being in overtime. You only allow 1 goal in regulation. Your goalie's giving you a chance to win. And I don't know if we can say that they've done that in any consecutive games up until the last 2. So that's something to build on. Now, they have to do it again. You can't just do it twice and then not do it for 2 or 3 because that's the old dance of mediocrity that they're still stuck in. To get out of the dance of mediocrity, it's got to be like 3 or 4, and then maybe have a game where you don't love, and then it's 3 or 4 good ones again. We'll see if the Oilers can get there. That, to me, is where they got to be at. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca Quality Markets. 2 locations, Sherwood Park and Edmonton. They can make you eat better, eat healthier, more convenient. 200 chef-prepared meals for you to order. Loca.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
7 games on the NHL schedule tonight, including the Flyers in Tampa. Devils host the Wings. Rangers taking on the Blues. Jackets in Washington. Preds hosting the Panthers. And the Ottawa Senators in Los Angeles taking on the Kings. In the NFL tonight, Week 12 wrapping up. Niners and Panthers from Santa Clara. Kickoff 6:15. In the association, Toronto Raptors in action hosting the Cavs. He'll be without R.J. Barrett, who has a sprained knee. You've also got the Pistons in Indiana Nets hosting the Knicks. Mavs take on the Heat, Bucks host the Trailblazers, and it's the Rockets up against the Suns. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll look around the NHL with former NHLer and analyst Nick Kiprios, talk some NFL, Brian Diardo of CBS Sports, and hear more from Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Welcome back to the Gregor Show.
Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777.
454. Welcome back, Gregor. Connor Halley.
780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
3 locations, endless sports action. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge. Sully's is the place to catch every game this fall. With tons of TVs, there's never a bad seat in the house. Check out the game night food and drink features and bring your friends for all the fun with Oilers watch parties all season long. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
It's week 3 of Canadian Tire's early Black Friday sale. These prices won't go lower this year. Maybe too low. Amazing.
Save up to 50% November 20th to 27th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Hey everybody, it's Chief Principe and Jason Stradlin. Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one hell of a trip. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise, July 2026. Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Book now and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours/Edmonton.
To sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth W football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back. This is the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. You make a $50 donation, and they'll match it. So you get double your chances at PlayAlberta.ca. And remember, tomorrow night, Lotto Max, $55 million at PlayAlberta.ca. Oilers, one game this week. They play tonight at home to Dallas. Then they have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. They play Saturday in Seattle, and they have Sunday and Monday off. So after a hectic start to the season where the Oilers have played the most games in the National Hockey League, they get a little bit of a reprieve here. So you think about it, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, they play, what do they play? 2 games technically this week, but they play 2 games in a span of 10 days. So that is time to recoup, get some practice time in. Obviously, teams will be able to create a little space, which probably makes those 2 games this week even more important to kind of stay in the hunt, while other teams will be playing 3 or 4 games. The Oilers will only play 2. You got Seattle, who is currently 3 points up on them. Seattle has 2 games in hand, and they play the Dallas Stars, who are currently 5 points ahead of the Oilers. And they've also played 2 fewer games. So big game tomorrow night against the Dallas Stars, who will be without Mikko Rantanen. Gets the automatic 1-game suspension. Hands up if you knew the rule of 2 game misconducts in a span of 41 games leads to a suspension. Because I didn't know about it. But that's what happened to Rantanen. I could argue might have deserved more for the second hit on Coronado on Saturday night in Calgary. So back-to-back 5 and a game for Rantanen. So usually we do the filling in on the spec report, now brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. From easy things like running water to ensuring that road you're driving home on, that's what they do at GS Construction. Former NHLer, Stanley Cup winner, longtime hockey analyst, Nick Kyprios joins us. Nick, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm good, Jace. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm excellent. Better than.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You didn't know that rule. I'm the first to admit I didn't know that rule. Let me ask you something. Did the Dallas Stars know that rule?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
Because if that wasn't worthy of a suspension on his hit on Romanov, then they should have pushed hard to have it rescinded, the game misconduct. They've been known to rescind the game misconducts before.
Yeah, well, no, that's a totally fair point, right? Like it wasn't like I looked in the NHL's like, okay, he gets an automatic 1-game suspension. I thought the Coronado play, like I said, oh yeah, but he stopped skating. I'm like, yeah, so he coasts in because he's flying, and then he finishes the hit and he lifts his arm, like he torqued him into the boards. I don't like hits from behind, so maybe I'm a little biased on it, but to me, that's worth even more than an automatic 1-gamer. I would have given him 2 or 3. I hate hits from behind. And I think we see him more often now than ever.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm all in on, give him a game or 2 on the hit. Well, 1 game, right? I mean, he wasn't hurt. Played after that, so 1 game would have been sufficient on that hit, opposed to the comparison on the New York Islander Romanov. But yeah, he was on a bit of a mission on that back check to go in then hard. He had some purpose on Coronado.
You look at a few teams, and here in Edmonton, they played the most games. They played the most road games. They've been one of the more one of the worst teams when it comes to giving up leads in the National Hockey League. But they don't find themselves in too deep of a hole at 10-9-5. They'll get a little break. They got some home games coming up, and I think a lot of people feel like the Oilers haven't played their best. They're like their defense hasn't played nearly up to their capabilities. I think their top 4 guys, they're coming. Bouchard in November has been very good. Ekholm's coming. Nurse has been better than he was early on. Wallman hasn't played enough. But what about Toronto and the Rangers? 2 teams that, hey, you played for both of them, Nick, and they got 22 points and 21 points. Yeah. Which one are you concerned about most, or is it equal for both?
No, more concerned, I think, for the Toronto Maple Leafs than even the New York Rangers, who underachieved last year. But this was still a team, albeit minus Mitch Marner, that had high expectations in the Eastern Conference. And, depending on where you were against the Leafs in Florida in the second round, even going into the third period, it was touch and go on whether or not they could beat the Florida Panthers. But ultimately, we know, where Florida stood on not only winning the series, but their second consecutive Stanley Cup. But, minus Mitch Marner, Jason, they should have been able to kind of put together a different version of a contending team. And it hasn't happened. And they've sprung leaks from the net on out. There's a ton of concern here. With Edmonton, at least, they're coming home off of a decent win against Florida, and they got, I think, 6 or 7 at home. And people are starting to feel like, maybe they're going to be able to turn the corner here. I know Knobloch's talking about a different system and bringing a few new, fresh ideas into, again, turning the corner. There's not that feeling at all in Toronto with the Maple Leafs. There's a lot of questions on their injuries, who's hurt, how long are they going to be out? Is it next game scenario, or is it going to be much longer? There's a ton of issues right now in Leafland.
Oh God, yeah. Like there are a lot of issues. If you could pick one thing in one area they need to improve, what's the most pressing area of improvement?
Well, I think, if we want to go back to what are you supposed to kind of team are you supposed to be, their most pressing need is to have an identity. Even if we talk about the Oilers struggling here, their identities, they're led by 2 of the best players in the world. And we know most often than not, they're going to show up and they're going to give fits to the opposition. And there's some times this year where it's been enough and it's not enough. And that's now, around your support team. And we know it's gotten stronger since Zach Hyman came. But right now there is zero identity on the Toronto Maple Leafs, including their best players, in Austin Matthews. Nylander has been able to put points up, but they at times have been, a few empty calories on when and where the points have come from. Case in point, I think he ended up with a goal and an assist against Montreal, but I thought, did not play well Saturday night. So no identity in net. They give up way too many rush chances. The gap between the forwards and the players is the size of, Lake Michigan. So where do you want to begin on how do you get an identity back for the next 60 games? That's the burning question for Craig Berube and Brad Treliving.
The Colorado Avalanche are crushing teams right now. They've only lost once in regulation in 20, and they're doing it despite the fact that they get the most power play chances in the league, and their power play is like 23rd at 15.7%.
Yeah.
My God, if their power play was good, they might not lose a game.
Again, 2 of the best players in the world, right? So, in terms of, I know I'm giving out this award of best player in the world a lot to different guys, but I think we're safe to say Draisaitl, McDavid, McKinnon, and Makar leading the way. And, the one thing, again, if you want to go back to, what the Toronto Maple Leafs did not find a way to replace Marner. And I'm not saying that, Nakesh is, at the end of the day, is going to be able to replace Rantanen, come playoff time, but he's certainly doing a good enough job to at least not making it an issue for the first 6 or 8 weeks. And he still should be in a position to score, 80, 90 points with this high octane team, but outside of that, they're getting good goaltending, which again, you're always worried about that. But the Woods have been doing a good job, both of them. and they look fine. They look fine. They definitely look like the best team in the league, and by a wide margin right now.
Yeah, they look really good, and it's stunning to me that their power play is as anemic as it is at 15.7%. Like if it was even average, 15.7 is like 24th. If it was even average, my God, they might not have lost a game. So they're playing very well.
And don't underestimate, sorry, Jason, but don't underestimate too their ability to improve this roster come March, right? At the trade deadline here. I don't think that they ever truly replace Kadri. And I think quietly they're gonna go about their business to make sure that McKinnon's well insulated, on the second and third lines.
Oh God, yeah. No, I think they'll be. Hey, they're going to be going for it, no question. I think with the way their team's going, they changed a lot of their team last year, and like what was it, 9 players during the season? It was kind of ridiculous amount, and it led to them not getting where they wanted. But this year they come in, they also get their captain back. Nick, and I want to ask you this: like Landeskog is not their best player, but what about his presence? He's a little bit more of a laid back guy than Nate McKinnon. And Nate McKinnon's, I love him as a player. He's really fiery. He's super competitive. He's really demanding all the time. Do you think having Landeskog around kind of just, brings things down? Not that there was a negative about it, but some guys are so hardwired. Like he's a thoroughbred and he's got to go all the time that maybe some guys having Landeskog, does that ease things up, do you think?
Oh, listen, there's no question sometimes that even, Nate can get a little too excited. And if there's one guy that can calm him down or at least be at the level of making him kind of look at a bigger picture, it's Landeskog. And, outside of that, the inspiration that they get out of this guy when, he's basically playing on one foot right now, is huge. And you're right. We'll never see him consistently playing 19 minutes a night like he did before the multiple surgeries. But the mere fact that he can still come to the rink every day and be someone that guys can lean on through his experience and view of the game or life, I think is just huge for the hockey club. And Jonathan Toews, he's not the player that he was in Chicago, but what he's able to do for the Winnipeg Jets as well, coming in as just a guy that's head and shoulders above everyone else when it comes to worldly experience around the NHL. How do you put a value on that?
Yeah, no, it's very true. The Jets, speaking of Toews and the Jets, they played 2 pretty good games here, but they lost both. The first 2 games without Hellebuck. And the Minnesota Wild are on fire. Colorado, we've talked about. Dallas has played really well. You look at Hellebuck's probably out until Christmas. This next stretch of games here for the Winnipeg Jets, and I looked at their schedule. It's not an easy schedule. That like next week they have a stretch where they play 4 games in 6 days, they play 6 games in 9 days. And the last 2 are a Friday at home, and it's Saturday in Edmonton, which is not an easy back-to-back travel-wise. Like this next month might make or break the season for the Jets.
Yeah, listen, they still come in as I think, along when Edmonton's at their peak are 2 best teams in the country. So I think they're going to be just fine. And I think the focus now is we don't have to win the President's Trophy. I mean, we've been down that path before, and the President's Trophy in the regular season, sometimes when you really want to be taken seriously as a contender and you want to get the respect out of the rest of the league, that may be the case here. But for them, I don't think that's the focus right now. They're battling injuries. Their best player, their MVP and Connor Halley, as you said, probably not out till Christmas. That, our players now kind of trying to figure out and manage their season. They want to be respectful, of course, for their club who's paying them all this money. Can't tell me that the Olympics isn't factoring into this as well. Hey, Jace, when it comes to some of these stars and when they do things and when they don't. But they're a deep team, and Lowry's back now and doing what he does best and providing depth, for Mark Scheifele and dropping his gloves against Foligno, which was a real great bout. So they're going to be there. They're going to be just fine for me anyways. Nick
Kypreos joins us. Nick, there's lots of chatter all the time. Teams get off the struggles and everyone's like, oh, change the coach. And yeah, I think some cases it works. In a lot of cases, it doesn't necessarily work. But the Buffalo Sabres have been 14 years out of the playoffs. They haven't had much success. On paper this year, you're like, hey, this team could be all right. Now they've had some injuries. Then Rasmus Dahlin, went away for something way more important than hockey with his wife and the heart transplant. And that makes, or fiance, I should say, and that makes sense. But suddenly they got guys back. And the Sabres are playing pretty well. And the Eastern Conference is really bunched up, right? Like you win 3 games and suddenly you go from 13th to 7th.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think the Sabres can stay in the hunt until March?
Well, how can they not? I mean, all these years, as you mentioned, missing the playoffs and then accumulating some picks and some young players. And, you got to think that there has to be a year here in 1-14 where they all of a sudden you look around and guys are contributing. And I think for the most part now that we're talking about, Thompson's gotten hot. Alex Tuck scored the other night. What are they going to do with Tuck? Can they be in a position to trade him now? If people believe that this could be a year where they could be close and contend, would Buffalo fans just take a good, honest playoff run here and make it? They're in a tough spot here, but it's still kind of broken there. When it comes to ownership and the vision that they've had the last little while and how they get there. So. Kevin Adams has been in charge the last little while. How does he get another year, another 2 years to pull this thing together? They've got some nice young pieces there. Byram, we've talked forever the last little while. Trade him, don't trade him. Long term, does Dahlin want to stay there? We mentioned Tuck and Thompson, Tage Thompson. Like, do these guys get tired of not being there? And not experience the playoffs. This is a real important stretch now, and I think if they can get through Christmas and make people believe, then there's a real possibility that we may even see them add a few pieces here and hold on to Tuck. But we're gonna have to wait and see for the next 2 or 3 weeks what direction they go.
Yeah, well, I think every team around the league, you look at it. You look at all the free agents. 3 months ago, there were supposed to be big name free agents next year. They've all signed with their teams. Like Tuck is now like the biggest free agent out there. So
yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. And so if Buffalo signs him, teams are like, well, how the hell do we build our team? How do we get any better?
Well, right now, they're miles apart.
Yeah.
So the question is now, do you make more money because there's not a great alternatives out there? Do you add another $500,000 or $1 million of someone overpaying you just because there is no plan B or C? Or do you just lock it in that, we like you as a player, but you're not a $10 million player, So this scenario is going to be really tricky here because we do know that Tuck likes it in Buffalo, right? I mean, he was happy to go home, but, I don't even know if he is a $10 million player, or is he, is he more like Ehlers, or, is he going to shoot for the moon? We got to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very true. Nick, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Jason, always a pleasure, bud. Thanks for always helping us out too.
Oh yeah, you betcha. No problem. That is Nick Kypreos, of course, former NHLer, host on Sportsnet. 5:25. Quick break. We will return. We got more talk on the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to hear from Chris Knobloch coming up a little bit later on the show. Also, it was a crazy, crazy weekend in the National Football League. Some teams who thought had no chance to win won. Some teams who desperately needed wins won. And what does that leave for tonight? We'll talk about tonight, tomorrow, and the return of a superstar. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off. And with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Aloha, Edmonton! It's back. Century Vision Care's 4th annual Maui Christmas event on Friday, December 12th from 9 to 5. Century Vision Care, Edmonton's biggest Maui gym retailer, is bringing the island spirit to your holiday shopping. Enjoy in-house savings on all prescription and non-prescription Maui gyms, plus giveaways, prizes, snacks, and beverages all day. Same-day eye exam appointments are available, and they direct bill most insurance plans, but spots are filling fast. Get ahead on your Christmas list and treat yourself to a new pair of Maui gyms. Visit Century Vision Care on Instagram.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:30. We continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on a Monday afternoon. Please turn your lights on as you make your way home. It's always better for everyone if you can get home safe and everybody can see on the roads. Remember, auto doesn't always mean your rear lights are on, so turn them on. Thank you very much. Gregor Show always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Our pick of the day today was, and we do this every day. You can, it's something new that we've just added. If you want to do it, we get an odds boost for you. So it gets a little better odds, play a lot of different sports at different times. And today we went with a little parlay on the show, which had Florida Nashville over 5.5 and the Red Wings to win. So We won on Friday. We'll see. Just started this new, so see how it goes. You can get in, have a little fun, get some odds boosts, playalberta.ca. Now let's get to our football report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring. If you're looking to work for a fantastic company where you get a hiring bonus, you'll get RSP matching, you get tuition reimbursement, all in one place, legacyheating.ca. Apply today. As the NFL wraps up, what a crazy, crazy week. Some ridiculous, unexpected comebacks, some much-needed wins for some teams, and we'll find out what happens tonight in Monday Nighter. Brian Diardo from CBS joins us once again. Brian, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Jason. How are you?
Good. Well, hey, Brian, since we talked, man, are you a little nervous about your Penguins?
All right. I'm going to admit I've been too into the weeds with the NFL to know too much. I will say I did catch a soundbite with Dan Muse that said, went into the weekend needing 4 points. We only got one. That's not good enough. I know their first outing was lethargic. They played tougher but lost. But my dad's a lot more into the team than I am at this point. But he doesn't believe the front office believes they can actually make the playoffs. So he doesn't think they're going to give them the enforcements they actually need to make a run, which is disappointing. But I don't want to see them belly up, and I don't think they will. I mean, but we'll see. I know I call the Diardo Bowl. That's coming in town next Friday, Black Friday here. The Jackets are hosting the Penguins, so that's the one time of year that I'm very conflicted, and I really can't lose either way.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, man, too bad for the Jackets. Marchenko was on fire. He's out for a game, but hopefully it's nothing too long term. Now, it was a crazy week in the NFL. It started off on Thursday when Houston, man, their defense is good. And the Bills, maybe the Bills aren't that good. Let's start there. What's your thoughts on the Bills?
They don't have a great receiving core. And, I mean, I think Khalil Shakir fooled a lot of people, myself included, when I picked them up on fantasy earlier this season. But they just don't have a lot of weapons. And I think that's kind of catching up to them. And I also think with Josh Allen, they rely on him a lot. And I think physically we saw him get banged up. He had that injury scare against Houston. And, again, these guys are going to play through injuries. But I think to us watching at home, and obviously we don't know what they're going through, but those injuries do add up, and it does affect their effectiveness. So, yeah, I mean, I think that Cook is obviously awesome. They need to lean more on him. But, yeah, that receiving core doesn't scare anybody, and it just puts more pressure on Josh Allen.
Yeah, well, you need some guys who can create speed for you for sure, and that just opens it up. And so right now, and their offensive line isn't playing great either.
No, it's not.
The Bears, man, they just find ways to win. They got a real tough schedule down the stretch, but they win, and so they fend off for another week at least. The Lions and the Packers. Where are you on the Bears? Is their schedule just going to be too tough for them to hold on and make the playoffs?
I think they will. I think where they are at 8-3, I think realistically they only need to win 2 more games. But to your point, they've got a tough stretch coming up. But I think they'll get the necessary 2 wins. I mean, that as long as that defense keeps forcing turnovers, they've got 24, which is most in the league. You look at yesterday against the Steelers, they had 2. They got touchdowns off of both of them, and they really had a third. I consider turnover on downs a turnover. And they were able to force the Steelers into a turnover on downs. They scored on that possession. So, as long as they can continue to do that, and they're going to get healthier on defense. I thought they might call you or me to play linebacker for them yesterday, but they were able to make it through. But I will say, the one thing watching that game that was super impressive to me was the offensive schemes the Bears were running on a healthy Steelers defense. I mean, Caleb Williams had so many wide open receivers. So, as long as he continues to get better and hit most of the time hit those open guys, they're going to be a playoff team for sure.
The Jacksonville Jaguars got a huge, much-needed win for them to keep pace. What do you make of the Jags, and do you trust Trevor Lawrence to be good enough down the stretch to get him to the postseason?
I picked them to go 9-8 and miss the playoffs, and I'm going to stick with it because I agree with you. And when you look at the remaining schedule, they've got 2 games against the Colts who are really good. They're, in my opinion, the class of that division. And they've got to go to Denver, so they're going to probably lose at least, 2 of those games. Now they do have the Jets, but the Jets are always, they'll play tough defense, and they've got the Titans. So, no, I think they're going to finish, 9-8, miss the playoffs. And, I think Lawrence is good, but he's very, very turnover prone. And again, with these quarterbacks, they ask him to do a lot. And I think the ability to play within yourself, which Bryce Young is going to play tonight, he is extremely good at that. Maybe to a fault. I'd like to see him take a little bit more chances. I think that's an important asset to have as a quarterback. So, no, I think they'll have a nice 9-8 season, but I don't think it'll be good enough to make the playoffs.
The Dallas Cowboys, one of the greatest comebacks we've seen. First time in 2 years, the team has overcome a 20-point deficit in the National Football League, up against the defending champs. I think they were done. He had thrown an interception in the end zone. It's 21-0. And then they storm back in the second half, and their defense comes up big. Their offense is able, Philly does miss a field goal, which obviously, led them to not go to overtime. But what do you make of the Cowboys? And then maybe how concerned are you? Like the Eagles they don't seem to have the same punch. Like Saquon Barkley doesn't look like a threat right now.
No, because that running game or that offensive line is not what it was a year ago. And that's the engine of that offense. It was last year. And I think, obviously for the Eagles, the run sets up the pass. And if they're not running, that puts more of a burden on Jalen Hurts. But for whatever reason, though, with the Eagles, it just doesn't seem like they're just unleashing Jalen Hurts and letting him just be himself. Run around, make dynamic plays. I don't know if they're trying to protect him, Jason. But it's odd to me because he's never been a running quarterback, even though he's a great running quarterback. But it just seems like this year they've really harnessed his ability to just be himself. And so I don't really know. They're 8-3. They'll make the playoffs, similar to the Bears. But there's major causes for concern if you're an Eagles fan. Now on the flip side, I've been impressed with Dallas's offense all season. And I love it. And I don't like. I come from a Steeler family, so we don't like the Cowboys, but I am super impressed with what I've seen from that offense and Dak Prescott, who's now the Cowboys' all-time leading passer. Even though I don't think he's the greatest Cowboy quarterback ever, so don't confuse the two. But and that defense, I give them some credit because when they lost Micah Parsons, they didn't pretend. It took them a while to adjust, as it's going to. I mean, if Edmonton lost Connor McDavid, they'd have to adjust, right? I mean, so they made the adjustments, right? They're now a defense that they just live on bending and not breaking. And will it be enough to make the playoffs? I don't think it will, but they've got a nice back end of the schedule with Minnesota, who's fallen apart. They finished with at Washington, at the Giants, two teams that I don't obviously, New York's firing all their coaches, and Washington with Jaden Daniels, if he's back, that might give them somewhat of a push. But I had Dallas 8-1 missing the playoffs. I'll stick with that. But certainly, and then obviously the tragedy they've dealt with too. I mean, to be able to respond from that is certainly an inspirational thing.
Brian Diardo from CBS Sports joins us. Brian, the team isn't very good, but Myles Garrett is having an unbelievable season defensively. The Browns' defense is good. He's got 18 sacks in 11 games. The NFL record is 22.5, which was set by Michael Strahan, and then in 2001, I think it was. And then TJ Watt tied it 20 years later in 2021. But Garrett right now, he's got 6 games left. But what's interesting about it is he could break the record in 16 games where they initially played. And so no one could even say, oh, yeah, I needed the extra game to break the record. Like his season and what he's doing, I know their team's terrible, but this is one of the best individual performances on either side of the ball that I can recall seeing.
No, I'm with you. I actually wrote about this on CBS Sports today, where I gave a prediction on when I think he'll do it. I don't think he'll do it this week, but I think I have him doing it week 14 against the Titans with Cam Ward. He's 5 sacks away. They've had the most sacks in the NFL. They've allowed the most sacks in the NFL to this point. And so, yeah, I think he'll get it at home. I think he's motivated to do it at home. But it's funny. So the NFL didn't start counting individuals' sacks as a stat until 1982. So what Pro Football Reference did a couple of years ago, I don't know how they did it or who had the time. They counted and watched all those old games and counted up all these unofficial stats. And they decided that where Al Baker of the Jets in 1978 has the unofficial sack record still with 23. And that was the first season of the 16. But it does, either way, to your point, he's on pace for 28 sacks. So he's going to do it. And I think he's going to do it in week 14. So not even 16. I think he's got a chance to get to 30 sacks. But I think what makes him so special, Jason, is that he lines up all across the defensive line. D-end, tackle, guard, whatever it is. It's been a phenomenal season. I think the last 5 games he has 14 sacks, 5 or 6 games. So yeah, it's a phenomenal season, and I think he's a shoo-in. I think he'll only be the third player ever to win Defensive Player of the Year being on a losing team.
Yeah, well, it'd be hard not to pick him in that one. Let's go to the Monday Nighter tonight. And, you got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, hey, they're hanging around. They're 6-5. San Fran 7-4. This is a big game really for both of them when they look for playoff aspirations.
Absolutely. And when you kind of break down this game, I look at when the Niners have the ball, on third down, are they going to convert? And I think they have a huge advantage in this game. The Panthers are a terrible third down team on both sides of the ball. 22nd on offense, 30th on defense. Now, Panthers' red zone defense is a lot better, and the Niners have one of the best red zone offenses. So I think for the Niners, it's winning possession downs and winning in the red zone is going to be key for them. And I love what the Panthers are doing. If this game was at Carolina, because I do think in the NFL, especially on prime time, I think home field advantage can go a long way. If this game was at Carolina, I'd like their chances a lot more. Jason, I would be really surprised if Carolina came in. But if they did win, a statement game, absolutely. But I don't see them winning. And one of the reasons why is they can't rush the quarterback. I think they're the worst team in the league at sacks. And the Niners are third to last. So if you like, Myles Garrett, I think has more sacks than both of these teams. So as far as rushing the quarterback, you won't see much of that tonight. But I do see the Niners winning largely because I think they're healthy. And Christian McCaffrey's amazing. He's such a great player. He'd be a Hall of Famer easily if he didn't have the injury issues. But yeah, both teams are very talented. They both are. I think the Niners are easily going to make the playoffs. I think Carolina has an outside shot at making it. But yeah, I like the Niners in what should be a good game.
Brian, always great to catch up with you, man. One last one. When you look at the playoff races in both sides, it's pretty entertaining. The AFC, Houston wins, Pittsburgh wins, the Chiefs win, the Ravens win, even though their offense looked absolutely dreadful in that game. Cincinnati's out of it, but sounds like Joe Burrow might play as early as this week. What do you make of that? And then what do you make of the Chiefs, the Texans, and the Ravens? If you had to pick one, which of those three teams do you like the best?
Oh, good. I mean, that's a 10-minute question. I love it. It's a great question. It takes some analyzing. I'll just say, I'll make it easy for myself. I'll pick the Chiefs because of their pedigree and Patrick Mahomes and the running game. Now, they've got some offensive line problems that's going to hurt them for a little bit. But in this Dallas game, Thanksgiving, for both teams, is a massive, massive game. But I like them. One team you didn't mention is my Steelers. We're hurting right now. I mean, now we're 6-5. If the playoffs started now, and you mentioned Baltimore, I don't think they matter in that equation because I think they are going to win that division potentially from Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh and Baltimore, only one of those teams is going to make the playoffs. I only think one team from the North will make the playoffs. And so, yeah, I mean, I think if you had to twist my arm right now, I would say Baltimore because they're trending up, even though they haven't really played anybody. But interesting storylines for both those teams. But as far as the Bengals, yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow playing, I think, I hate saying this because they obviously do want to win, but I think for them, it's more important to I don't think they just wanted to sit on the sidelines and miss basically an entire year. I think they wanted him to get back, get some football, get some experience, maybe overcome maybe the mental obstacle of dealing with another injury. I think for them, which they'll never admit this, it's a win for them Thursday night is for Joe to get through the game and not get hurt. And to show some momentum, to show some things. He'll have Jamar Chase back after the spitting incident. He won't have T. Higgins because of the concussion. And when all three of them are on the field, it's a work of art. It's amazing. But when one of them is missing, it's not quite as good. But it'll add some intrigue into this game. And, the Cincinnati did play better defense this past week against New England. So we'll see if they can make a game. As a Steelers person, I would love to see Cincinnati win on Thursday night as I'm eating my pumpkin pie.
Well, yeah, happy pre-Thanksgiving. I know it's a huge day for Americans, so have a lot of fun with that. And what is your go-to food item? And then do you have like a tradition, something mom's made that's passed down? Like, what's your go-to on Thanksgiving, Brian?
I'm Italian, so I'll eat pizza any day of the week. So, I mean, I like Thanksgiving because it's just a chance to watch football and overindulge. But as far as the actual food, like I'm not a big Thanksgiving meal guy. I will say pumpkin pie with some whipped cream. You can't go wrong. And, stuffing with the gravy. I know some people don't like that. That's kind of controversial. I like stuffing with gravy more than like mashed potatoes is kind of overrated in my opinion. It's not good. It's got a lot of times it's too watery. So that's probably too deep dive than you wanted. But yeah, pumpkin pie can't ever go wrong. But try stuffing with gravy if you haven't. It's good.
Oh, buddy, pumpkin pie is the best.
Absolutely
love it. Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Enjoy the games.
Anytime. Thank you.
There you go. That's Brian Diardo from CBS Sports. Quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tanks. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
It's week 3 of Canadian Tire's early Black Friday sale. These prices won't go lower this year. Maybe too low. Amazing.
Save up to 50% November 20th to 27th. Conditions apply. Details online.
This Black Friday, transform your state of mind with Calm Radio. Enhance focus with timeless classical masterpieces. Unwind to soothing nature soundscapes. Or drift into deep rest with our sleep music and wellness content. With 60% off a yearly membership, it's the perfect time to elevate your daily routine. Create calm in every moment and reconnect with yourself. Visit calmradio.com and begin your transformation today.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
At Nisku Ford, we want your visit to feel as comfortable as a holiday gathering. When you shop with us, you're not just a customer, you're family. And we always give our family the best.
And the whole family is going to love our November deals. Find your favorite Ford, then choose from 0% financing or rebates as high as $10,000.
Nisku Ford to your holiday visits or make your wish list at niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on, man. What a busy show flying by today. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Con man, really haven't even had you on the show too much today. Busy lineup with lots of guests. Brownie in the studio. What did you make of the NFL weekend?
I enjoyed it. Obviously the Cowboys-Eagles game was a lot of fun. The Colts-Chiefs game was, it kind of answered the question I had about the Indianapolis Colts and what we talked about. Could Daniel Jones go head-to-head with a quarterback of, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar? He had the ball first in overtime. They went 3 and out. I know he completed his only pass, but, in a game like that, it's going to fall on the quarterback, and that's what the pressure is going to be. So, I kind of reassured what I thought. Colts are a good team. Do I like them going into some environments and winning? Not really. Chip Kelly.
What took so long? What did you make of their running game or lack thereof in Kansas City?
You know what? Reminded me of the Super Bowl where the Chiefs were like, let's take away the running back. Saquon against the Eagles. It was obviously Jonathan Taylor against the Colts. Jalen Hurts made plays. Daniel Jones didn't. So that's kind of how I looked at it. I think the Chiefs were like, all right, we'll do all we can to eliminate the running game. And Jonathan Taylor, I think he finished with 50 yards, something like that. And 26 came on one carry, 27 on one carry of 58 yards. So the Chiefs did an unbelievable job of limiting what he was able to do. And, they just couldn't get the job done elsewhere. But yeah, I think you got to give the Chiefs some credit for that one. Back against the wall, had to get it done. Did all they could do, even in a game where, Mahomes threw for a lot of yards, but didn't hit the end zone. They gutted that one out and found a way to get the job done. But yeah, overall, good weekend. Nothing too crazy, I suppose, outside the Cowboys Eagles. But I was going to say, Chip Kelly gets fired by the Vegas Raiders. No surprise. I thought that was a bad hire when they did it. And now we just ask, is Pete Carroll next? Like, would the Raiders already move on from Pete Carroll? Because this year has not been good. The offense sucks. The defense sucks. I don't think, despite getting Ashton Genty, I don't think they had a very good draft. I don't think that was someone they needed. So I'm curious already to see what the Raiders do this offseason.
Well, hey, what about the Giants and their D coordinator? Like that stat that was posted on, I got to find it here on because I want to give props to who it came from. Well, it's just some no name at 6410. Sorry, but anyway, he posted the Giants and they had a 3-point lead with 14 seconds left in the game, lost. They had a 26-8 lead with 5:19, lost. 10-point lead with 3:58 to go against the Bears, lost. 10:57 remaining 10-point lead against the Lions, lost. Like wild, absolutely wild stuff.
Kind of exactly what they want, though, right? Like competing, keeping it close, and then getting better draft stock. I think amongst some Giants fans, he will be a legend. But yeah, pretty crazy that they've just been able to find ways to lose those games. Beat my Chargers, though, so I'll give them that.
Well, yeah, that's true. They did. But it was, that was a huge win for the Chiefs. They needed it. I look at Seattle. Seattle looked like a team that was like, you know what? We'll just find a way to win against the lesser opponent. Green Bay got by Minnesota. Now they got trouble. Hey, the Rams, are they the best team in football?
Right now, yes.
They look pretty darn good, don't they? So, and hey, Kirk Cousins back gets a win. I know it's against the Saints, but hey, can't pick your opponents. You just got to beat them. Enjoy a night off for Oilers fans. Feels like you're watching games every night, but you'll be back tomorrow against the Stars. We'll talk all about that and more on tomorrow's show. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, all of our guests, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves an awesome Monday evening. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. November to remember, you can save thousands on new and pre-owned inventory, and you get tires at cost. No joke. NorthgateGM.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
7 games tonight in the NHL after 20 minutes. Lightning up on the Flyers 1. I think the Devils lead the Red Wings 3-1. Rangers at home trail the Blues 1-0, and the Capitals have a 1-0 lead over the Blue Jackets. Later tonight, Preds host the Panthers, Golden Knights in Salt Lake City, and the Kings taking on the Ottawa Senators. Week 12 in the NFL wraps up this evening. Niners-Panthers from Santa Clara, kickoff set for 6:15. And in the association second quarter, Raptors trail the Cavaliers 44-38. Elsewhere, Pistons up on the Pacers 52-44. And it's early, but the Nets have a 14-12 lead over the Knicks in the first. Later tonight, Grizz host the Nuggets, Trailblazers in Milwaukee. Got the Pelicans taking on the Bulls, Rockets, Suns, Warriors host the Jazz, and the Timberwolves in Sacramento. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440.